up, Dave Lever?
What's up?
I'm gonna I know your name way too well now because I have seen you at least more than 2 times. So I have it in the memory.
That is good, Elizabeth. That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember everyone's names, but I can remember yours.
That's good.
Get hype.
Yeah.
I have lots of questions for you. Good one.
What?
How was your turkey day?
It was long.
Long.
I don't remember
I
too much.
believe it. I believe it based on what you said you were going to be doing. So, how did your shoots go well that day, though?
It was freezing cold.
Oh God,
It was cold.
I don't
They're
love
all
that.
outdoors.
No me gusta.
Yeah.
All of them, but in the similar spot, or did you have to go to people?
No, same spot. I never moved.
Good.
Because I had all my lights set up and everything, so I didn't want to move that.
Love that. I think it's incredibly adventurous to do something like that, but I also think you're really nailing it by serving families that maybe wouldn't ever be able to do something like this. I would say get fancy photos.
I looked at my earnings that day. I made close to 5,000 that day.
Ooh, that's nice.
With sales and
I'm in the wrong line of work, Elizabeth.
with sales and with the session fee.
That's incredible. Good job. Do you get more sales after that, or do you think that's the cap right now?
No, that's the sales after I showed them the images. That's what they ordered on the spot.
That's incredible. And then do you think they're going to come back and say, "Can I get a little bit more?" Or does that not happen?
Yeah, sometimes depends on the person. I don't know about these families though.
Yeah, completely understand.
It happens more at weddings.
Yeah, I completely understand. Well, I feel you on that one. Weddings, I guess, are the big thing. So they're always going to want fresh photos or printed photos. Hello, Hendrick.
Hey.
What's up, Hendrick?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I told him, David, that I will never forget his name because I've seen him more than twice now. So it's the brain tank.
You might even see me zooming in from a chairlift one of these days.
That would be kind of cool. That would be fine. I'd be fine with that. Oh man, that would be kind of a sweet background. Me, I just have a fuzzy background, so.
Yeah, I have all my posters in the background, but I'm fuzzy right now.
Yeah, poetry. Like you write it and you put it up.
No, they're actually all the concerts of Dave Matthews Band I've been to. There's over 150 posters in my house right now.
Oh, Dave posters. Matthews. I thought you said poetry.
Yeah, no, concert posters.
Sick. You better. I know you're a big time fan, which is really incredible. And I have listened to their music before, and I would say that it's pretty good. It's got a sweet vibe to it. Do y'all mind if I go get my little energy drink? I should have grabbed it before I sat down.
No, I'm about to grab my my pre-workout mix here because I gotta go to the gym in a few minutes.
What? So you come and say hi and then go get your gym on?
No, we're gonna drive to drop my car off, and then we're gonna take an Uber over to the gym.
Yeehaw.
To get work done.
If I had a cowboy hat, I would tip it and I'd say yeehaw. You know I'm from the South, right? Come on. That's my thing. It's my culture.
I know that.
My culture. So, all right. BRB, I just got to go get my little.
Go do whatever you need to do on BRB.
BRB.
Making my pre-workout. He's back.
Ooh. My hair is looking good today, guys. Crazy.
David, you just moved, right? David, you just moved, right?
Yeah, I just bought a house.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm actually in it right now, but
I'll be there in 10 minutes for your housewarming party.
I'm setting up a portrait studio inside.
Heck yeah, dude.
Is it cold there in Florida?
No. I'm in New York.
Oh, you're still okay. Okay. I thought you moved to Florida or something.
It's a joke on Facebook. If you
have
you never read the whole thing. You never read the whole Hendrick, you never read the whole thing. You never read the whole thing. I had so many people on that, it was hysterical.
Wildin'. That's what we call wildin'. Then after a bit.
I want to start getting into headshots. That's what my ultimate goal this year is to do headshots. branding and all that good stuff.
So you said in Jersey? That's your thing?
Who?
Did you say New Jersey? In Jersey?
No, I wasn't talking about New Jersey. I don't know
What'd
where
you
you got
say?
New Jersey.
Okay, so I'm not the best hearer listener, but I
I
heard I'm
see that
trying
on
to do
the-
headshots. He said I'm trying to do headshots in Jersey, but I don't think
No,
that's
I
like
said in my studio.
oh, my studio. Okay. Hey, you know
Yeah.
these things come in a little fuzzy sometimes, so
That's why I don't wear
Little.
earphones when I talk on these damn things.
that's a good point. Well, you know, I have to look like an alien sometimes, purposefully.
I don't look like an alien when I'm at Starbucks.
What? Oh yeah, with the headphones. I feel you on that. What's your drink of choice, David and Hendrick?
My drink is lemonade vodka.
I actually
and
don't drink.
iced tea.
I'm at Starbucks, David and Hendrick.
Oh,
It's like
I
a
thought you meant
coffee
alcohol. I
or
was like, I'm thinking alcohol.
no, I
tonight.
was still on the Starbucks topic.
Oh, okay.
Hot chocolate. Starbucks hot chocolate.
That sounds good. Those are thick though.
This is Starbucks hot chocolate.
Yeah. I might try one this year again. So are we a tea drinker, coffee drinker, Hendrick?
I'm tea drinker.
Yeah. Have you
I
ever
can't
had
drink
like
coffee.
a
I can't
chai
drink coffee. Coffee tastes too nasty for me.
Coffee has a bitter taste. But people are starting to put egg yolks in their coffee to clean up that bitterness. So
Egg yolks.
yeah. Oh man, I've been on some Instagram deep dives with this coffee stuff. They'll do it a few different ways. Like some people just drop the yolk in, blend it, and leave it like that and drink it. Hello,
What's up,
new
David?
friend.
What's
David
up?
Kang.
What's up,
Hi.
homie?
New
up, Dave?
friend. Hello.
By the way, there, Elizabeth.
Another new friend.
If you want, instead of the disgusting energy drinks that they sell, G Fuel is the best energy drink. It has no crash in it whatsoever.
That's one thing that I would need because pre-workout will crash you after a couple of hours.
But it
You'll
has
get
no
this high
sugar.
and
No
then
it's a healthier form of energy drink and it has no crash. And you take one scoop and one cup of water shaker, and it's good for about 4 or 5 hours instead of those 2-3 hour energy drinks that you drink.
do you think you could take I know this sounds like a little work, but can you take a little picture of your front and then I can have it in my
What?
little picture? So you can do it anytime. Doesn't have to be now.
No, here you go. This is what I drink. I drink the iced tea mix.
Fancy. Alexander, how are you?
How's it
They have
going?
different flavors.
Nice to
What's
face
up,
you.
Alexander?
How's it going?
Met.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, buddy.
Good to see everybody. Some new faces here. Yeehaw.
And some old faces.
And I'll call you a young face. 'Cause I'm nice. Or yeah, we'll go
Come
with young face.
on.
We'll go with young face. Hello, you
Young-
young facer. How you
Young-
doing?
What's
I've
up?
actually got to leave at 2 today, so just to let you know.
No problem.
I'm gonna
I'm
be
kid
on and
early.
off all day because I'm probably gonna get into my car in a few minutes. So I'll hop off, but I'll be back on in about 20 minutes as soon as I drop my car off.
Yeah.
And I'll be on.
That's perfect, David. That's literally perfect. Anytime y'all want to just hop on, hop off, it's totally cool. Even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter.
That's not bad.
That's kind of the goal of these is like if people come in and say hi, it's like we get to see your beautiful faces and
Our lovely faces.
our beautiful, lovely faces. And let's see, we've got 2 bearded guys in here. We got Alexander and David. So we get to see your bearded faces.
Yeah.
Hey, does anyone know a videographer in near Boston, Massachusetts?
I'd have to just make a post in one of our video groups, but it's probably pretty easy. You can make a post in Gig Pickup. Why are you asking that? Is that based on a post that you saw in Gig Pickup?
No, because I posted in like different groups and no one has gotten back to me because I'm looking for a videographer.
You
For
can
this Sunday.
post in Gig Pickup. Yeah,
Okay.
just post it. Even if
Oh.
it's not a state listed in the 5 states,
Okay.
we're at
post in
least
Gig-
close.
Because I'm looking for a videographer for this Sunday
Yeehaw. You
This
better.
Sunday.
with no editing.
Of course.
So you can rock that edit, Mr. David Leifer.
Well,
You can rock that edit, David Leifer. Video
yeah.
editing?
Well, I'm sure it's for a friend of mine. I'm donating video services to them,
Heck yeah.
so
Very
I'm paying for it out of pocket.
Well, that sounds good. Well, keep us keep us posted in the gig pickup. If you want to make a post, it's totally fine if
I
it's
will-
a massive.
I'm
post.
going to make a post in the next hour or so. So look, be on the lookout for that, and Elizabeth. So you can approve of it.
I better approve of it. My goodness, what kind of admin would I be?
No, so, sometimes it takes you 2 days of,
Oh, then
Oh.
I'm gonna have to. I'll talk to Hendrick because Hendrick also approves. posts.
Well, in your mile
You
group,
also can message me. We have a friendship. Hello.
I know, I know that. I was joking, Elizabeth.
Good. You better be.
I'm a total jokester sometimes. Come on.
I believe you.
Uh,
So,
Um,
David, we're gonna do a little introduction. I think you're leaving now, but what do you want to just come back and say hi to people and introduce yourself a little better? We're
Yeah,
doing we're doing the very basic introduction.
Okay, when I come back on about a half hour, I'll introduce myself.
Sounds good. We'll probably have some more people jump on.
Okay, I'll be back in a half hour. See you guys soon.
Okay. Be safe.
Bye.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.
So, since we have four awesome people on here today, there will be some more people jumping on in a little bit. But I will just kind of give them the template of what to say. But this is so we have it recorded. And this is if you're hiring people, if you're wanting to be hired. I just kind of get that little sound bit audio for people to see, if you're available, interested in being hired. If you have a studio that you rent out, stuff like that. So, but are y'all ready to do that little thing and share with us?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So we'll start out with what state you live in. We'll start out, or you can say your first and last name. So first and last name. What state you live in and what states you can work in. And then right after that, you'll say, I want to be a second videographer, second photographer, assistant, whatever, lead, blah, 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 blah. We also have video photo editors in here in the gig pickup group. And then we have administrative assistants or virtual assistants who are going to be in the group as well. So if y'all have that background where you're I just want to pick up some virtual assistant work, whether it's temporary, long-term, you can kind of share about that. Same with video editing, photo editing, stuff like that. So I think that's everything. And if you have a studio that you rent out, that's a good time to kind of tell people about it. I think that's it. Or if you have mini photo shoots, some people have mini photo shoots this time of year. So who wants to go first? I'm going to say, is it Alex or Alexander? Which one do you
Alex works for me.
You like the shorter?
Yeah, short is easier.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I can hang with that. All right, T. Rock and roll.
Yeah, sweet. So my name's Alexander Eskridge. I'm based out of Springfield, PA, Pennsylvania. So that's about 20 minutes away from Philadelphia, hour and a half from New York, but Springfield, PA. Yeah, super close. So usually I am here just to networking. Usually the position I'm looking for gig pickups as well. Usually either a lead videographer, second videographer works for me. I also do look for first ACs quite often. I find myself needing assistance on a lot of video shoots I am going out on.
Nice.
So yeah, for the most part, that's about it. I guess I have my own makeshift rental house I'm kind of putting together now because I just have way too much gear. Once that's figured out, I'll be able to send that list to everybody. And it's pretty extensive. So yeah.
Feel free to post it and keep updating it over and over again. If you have I don't know if you're gonna post all of it on Facebook.
I'm probably going to keep it to Facebook to start. Yeah, I'm probably going to keep it on Facebook to start. And then once I see the bees start rolling, I'll see how it goes from there. And then we'll kind of pick the avenue from that, from then.
And then a secondary option is a Google Drive link, and people can access it and click it and just check what you have going on, and you can update it as you go. So feel free to.
That's a great idea.
You can post it right in the group, and they can always just have access to it. And you sell everything, you can just update, sold. And good.
That's a good idea.
And I might be a purchaser, so who knows?
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
I'll
Like I
be
said,
able to get some gear.
whenever you can,
I-
whatever, like I said, whatever's there, I'm renting a
Yeah.
lot of it. So yeah, it's too
And-
much stuff.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Okay, so congrats on the new house, though. I think you said you moved in and you're renovating. Is that correct? Something
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no.
What did you say? Say it your way again. Something
From
about
Springfield, from Springfield, PA.
uh-huh. Something about, did you say you moved in somewhere or you're renovating something or fixing something?
No, I said I'm starting makeshift rental house. That's kind of
There.
yeah,
What does that
makeshift.
mean?
Yeah, starting a makeshift rental
So
house.
it's
Yes.
not where you're staying though, like it's like somewhere else, right? Where you're renting.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere else. Yes, 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 yes. It'll probably Fallcroft, PA, which is again still 20-25 minutes from the city, from Philadelphia,
Yeah.
25 minutes from New Jersey, at least Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and yeah. So
That's
yeah.
my jam. I could literally drive to you. So
Exactly. I'm kind of centralized.
I'm
Where I
very
am is
excited
very
about that.
centralized to
Yeah.
Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware. So it's
Delaware.
like a perfect spot. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Wow. Thank you for your introduction and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm sure I don't know how long you've been in gig pickup, but just welcome to that group. We're
I've been
so
I've been
happy
in
to
for a
have
couple months
you.
now. It's
Good.
just happy to like I said, usually somehow every single time you would post, I just haven't jumped into the group postings you have had.
Yeah.
Or when I do see it, it's literally like 3 hours after it's over,
Yeah.
or it's the day after, and I'm like, oh wow, I actually made it for once. So I just wanted
Today's
to jump in and say
perfect.
hi. Yeah.
And the reason I'm doing 3 days this week is so I can meet as many people as possible. We had a good little chat yesterday. I don't think as many people were on because they just weren't as available. But
Yeah.
today's a kind of what I anticipate as a bigger day, and then tomorrow, because people just have a little bit more wiggle room.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll see. It's always supposed to be just a casual, fun chat, and we do get into some great conversations here and there. Everything's recorded, so I get to go back, edit everything, kind of like say if I said something stupid, I get to delete that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
So, and then I just post it as episodes. Sounds a little tacky, but it's
Nah,
episodic
yeah.
because
Yep.
I want people to feel like they're making content, today
Yes.
with me.
Yep.
So, all right. Since we have a smaller group today, do y'all have questions for him before we move on? Thoughts, comments, concerns? Gasp.
No, I don't have any.
Awesome. So anybody can go next. Whoever wants to go.
David, you go first. All right. Well, I don't remember all the structure, but
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm right outside Morristown, New Jersey, up here up north. So pretty far away from you, Andrew, or Alexander, sorry. I am a commercial photographer. I've been one for now 22 years. 22 years. Yeah, wow. So primarily right now, still do television production, stills, as well as do corporate kind of photo shoots and stuff like that. So yeah, so I work for little clients to big clients. One of my biggest clients right now is Verizon. I've been with them now. This will be my second year with them, so it's been an interesting.
Kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah. Big deal. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
big deal.
Verizon's huge.
Crazy.
It is by my largest client by far. But it's been fun. I can't complain. So I've had a really good career so far. I've been proud of what I've built. I did weddings for about 10 years and then I stopped. Hendrick will attest to that. I still shoot weddings on the weekends for friends and stuff like that, or wherever I can pick up some extra work here and there. But I don't take on my own wedding clients anymore unless it's like someone special or someone in dire need. But otherwise, I don't do weddings for myself as far as clients, my personal clients. Yeah, so I have a ton of experience. I'm a digital tech as well, so I do a lot of digital techs for Fashion Week and for a bunch of big shooters in the city. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with some of the biggest people in the industry. So I've been very, very lucky and fortunate, and it's great because I get to be a sponge on set. But other than that, that's it. That's it for me. right now looking mainly just to build out my team. So as my productions get bigger and bigger, the scope of what I do is expanded. So I'm looking for just being able to build out my team and go from there. So mainly right now, trying to figure out. I mean, I have a bunch of people that I work with as far as on the video end, but still trying to build it out so it's a little bit so I can accommodate all different type of price points. Most of the people that I work with
That's
right now
crazy.
are on the higher end,
Yeah.
uh, so they're not really ideal for the smaller projects
Yeah.
that I've
Yeah.
done. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's weird now being on the other end of being that guy where I have to build out a team and build out, get PAs, really kind of structure it out. Before, whereas before I was just
Just
running
a
on just
runner
a,
gunner.
just running on the still side and just having to, worry about my own personal team, but now I have to
Yeah.
build out for the
Yeah.
rest.
Well,
Uh,
I'd say you're in an incredible spot to do that with all of your years of experience. I mean,
yeah, but it's definitely weird to be on the other end. I
yeah,
have to admit.
yeah.
So
Goodness gracious. I'm gonna be back to you in a second, David Tang, because I have some more questions and thoughts. Doreen, I wanted to say hi. How are you doing? It's been a hot minute since I've seen you.
I'm doing well. Thanks for allowing me to be fashionably late.
That is a-okay. People can jump in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 hours. No, I'm kidding. We won't be there that long. But yeah, it's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Zoomie.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I met Alex today and David today, so they're fresh new faces for me. And I think Hendrick, you might have already known David already, so that's good.
yeah, we go back away.
Look at us building relationships and connections and networking. It's great. So David, I feel you on all that. Do you guys, I like what you're doing, but it does take a lot of energy to build and to assess what you need, when you need it, how you need it. So kudos to you. If you ever need any extra support when hiring, please let me know.
Yeah.
That's one of my passions in gig pickup is to just make sure people get good people. I have been yelled at once or twice before because I recommended someone and they didn't do as good of a job. So I want to always make sure that I preface qualify your people. Someone came back and was like, his white balance was so bad. And I was like, I was not at your wedding to check your second shooter's white balance, but that you've never worked with before. So but it was a learning lesson for me to just say, hey, yeah, y'all qualify your people, make sure you're hiring good people and they know what they're doing. So but yeah, David, do you have a studio that you rent out? Do you do minis? I think that's
No.
probably
I mean, because it's December, I've done a lot of Santa stuff for corporations, like
whoa.
activations. So not like
Oh,
minis in the sense of like families hiring me. It's the companies that are doing like
Santa.
Verizon just had one. So they opened up their Times Square store and then, they had Santas there. So I shot all the families that came through and stuff like that, but not
Literally
like
so cool.
personal family. It's
When
like
they do that, is
Yeah.
it for free?
So
Like,
nice.
do the families
no,
pay?
I mean, no, the clients don't pay squat. It's
Yeah.
Verizon paying me.
No,
And
no,
they
no. I
might
mean,
take
yeah,
a
but I
little,
mean, like, do the clients like? Is it a free thing that Verizon does for the people,
they
or
can
is
get
it
free
just like?
photos.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's usually activation. So I think I have seven this year, which is crazy. And so it's either big companies doing it for free,
mhm.
or it's a hospital doing it. So I do a lot with Weill Cornell. I also do a lot with NYU and Langone. Also some of my
That's
clients.
cool.
So,
That's nice that they do
um,
that.
yeah, so they do that, and then they
Great.
basically just, because they have a yearly budget,
Yeah.
and actually got peak of their yearly budget by accident. And
So
just this
funny.
group alone's
Ooh,
this group's alone's budget for the year is 250,000, $750,000.
Wow.
crunchy. I
Yeah,
like it.
so it's literally like when you get the invoice, it tells you like, oh, here's it's part of this person's like slush fund, and I'm like, that's a slush fund. I'm like, all
I'd
right.
love to dip in a slush fund. My goodness.
Yeah, so I don't have a
Pretty
studio. I
cool.
don't do minis.
Yeah.
Everything I do is ad hoc. So I'm usually looking for studios. So if I
Nice.
have I have a big production coming up for Huntington Learning Center, and so we booked out a studio already for that. But
That's crazy
that's
cool.
why for me it's just about now. I'm in a phase of my career where I'm looking to find like,
Those
okay,
little,
this is where I need to go. This is what I
yes,
need
yeah.
to do. Actually, I wanted to talk to Hendrick. I just want to find Hendrick, if you like, I'll text you later about it, but I have a couple of gigs that I need an associate for, because
Officer.
I am
Oh,
I've been burned. I've been burned a
yeah.
couple times right
Cool.
now, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna go to
Sorry.
my wedding guys. See if you guys can do some
Wedding
corporate,
guys can rock
because
it.
I got burned a couple of times, and it's a lot harder because with I don't know how many of you guys are in commercial world, but
Yeah.
commercial world is completely different from weddings, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
weddings are
100%.
kind of, yeah, you're kind of always marketing, whereas with commercial you're always networking. And
Yeah.
so your name is literally everything. Like
Yeah.
if you get bad, so if I screw up with a client, it has reverberations much
Yeah.
more than in, say, a wedding situation. So
Takes
if you
the
have a
high.
black client, they gave you post a bad review on Google, whatever. But a lot of people will ignore some, as long as your overall reviews are good. But whereas on a commercial side, if you piss off somebody or you don't do a good job or something, and you make them look bad,
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
that's
Yeah.
it.
They will
Like
cut
Yeah.
you
So
off.
yeah,
you're
no,
never
yeah, that's it.
working within that
No,
network again, because
no,
they just
that's
talk.
it. Yeah. So you only get one. You only get once. Yeah, I get that.
You only get one shot.
Yeah,
Not
so I
chance to
actually,
go.
so I've been trying to use, I've been burned before, this year twice now. So I
Oh,
just have a thing where I'm like, all right, I have to kind
be
of get
like very rigid about who you hire, how you hire, when you hire.
yeah, it's
It's
just
kind
more
of a
of like,
big deal. Yeah.
yeah, kind of making setting expectations and making sure, right? As I said, like white balance, I'm not really worried about white balance. I can do
Fix
that in
things.
post.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
It's a skill.
composition and just lighting,
Composition.
like, for me, it's just like, all right. And also just
Yeah.
the fact that like especially with corporate, it's more about you can't insert yourself into things. You kind of,
Have to
like
shoot from a distance, kind of
you just have to
a little
be
bit more.
discreet. You have to
Yeah.
be kind of, like it's not like with a wedding photographer, I see a lot of them, they're like, it's my show, right?
Mm.
So like they get in there and they're like, yo, you do this. Like that's
Mm.
not really,
Gotta
that's
dial it back. Put a lid on it.
yeah.
I'll,
Especially when you have high powered people or high level celebrities or whatever involved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be
You
like
really
keeping your
just need
head
to kind of keep your
cool.
cool, like you've
Yeah.
done this a million times kind of deal. So
And I want to speak to the wedding professionals who do photography or even videography. Like Hendrick, I think Doreen, you've probably done weddings, right? Not really.
Not my thing.
Yeah, totally cool. Alex, do you do weddings at all or have a
Yes.
history?
Yep. Quite often.
Okay. So to speak to the value of just the super skills that we develop in those shooting scenarios, we're going from shooting in the sunlight to shooting in a very dark room to shooting a ceremony where the sun changes 16 different times. Just to see how we can tweak our settings, change our lighting within seconds or minutes. It's kind of a big deal. And I think those are really beneficial skills to be able to transition and pivot. So even transitioning over to corporate, it might be great for someone to just hear that insight from David. Like, can you guys just kind of keep a lid on the personality part of what you're doing and let's amp up those technical skills, because you do need technical skills for a wedding, but you can be a little more woo with your personality because it's not going to put a damper on the day. But yeah, I just love what David said. So I wanted to add to that a little bit. And David, I believe you said, where do you live and what states do you usually? Sorry, I know you probably already said that, but I wanted to get
no,
a
that's fine.
refresher.
I'm up in right outside Morristown, so a little town right next to Morristown, New Jersey, but everyone knows where Morristown is. So
Yeah.
it's like upper northern Jersey. So primarily most of my clients are in New York City, and I'm trying to get more New Jersey clients, but
Yeah.
everything is pretty much in New York. So
Is that congestion fee going to affect you at all?
yeah, but it can affect me, but not really. It's gonna be built in. It's
Yeah.
gonna be more annoying
Okay.
for the smaller clients, but bigger clients don't give a crap. I mean, like
All right.
literally, I've like billed them for like I got a parking ticket. I billed them for the
Yeah.
parking ticket because
Love
they're
it.
like, yeah, because they were just like, hey, because
You're working
larger
for
companies
them.
know
Okay.
like that's part of doing business. Like it's just what's
In
going
the
to happen.
city.
Like I'm down in an area, either A, I'm not going to show up for the shoot in time, or I have to get a, like, because the parking lots, I don't know if you ever dealt, I don't know if it's like this way in Philadelphia, but in New York, even if you have Spot Hero and you get into an area that you have a reservation for,
Yeah.
they, if their lot's full, the lot's full. They're not going to
Yeah.
take
Yep.
what. So
Mhm.
then you're kind of screwed. And especially if I'm shooting in Brooklyn or Queens, which doesn't have parking lots. So
Yeah.
you just have to find a
Find
spot.
parking. Yeah.
So in those kind of areas like that, there are times where you're going to get a ticket. And so it's just a matter of like, obviously if been with a client for a long time, it's they won't have an issue billing it,
Yeah.
that billing. But if it's a newer client, I'm just going to eat it. So the congestion is it's annoying, but I'll probably eat that cost for, I'd say like
A little bit.
90% of my clients.
Yeah. Dang.
Uh, it's just part of doing business, especially when, corporate clients don't mind nickel and diming as much, but they also don't. The difference is that it's not their money, right? So if they go over budget, they have to fill out a lot of paperwork. So not, you're adding more work for them, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be very cognizant of like, okay,
What
this
their
is my
costs are.
budget. I try to either meet budget or under budget. But there's always that wiggle room, like, they'll know.
Yeah.
Uh, But yeah, for that, I'll just probably eat it. I mean, it's annoying as heck because especially if you're on like a film shoot and you have to go downtown to uptown to back to downtown,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're gonna eat that cost. So
Woo. That's a lot of Subway sandwiches with
yeah,
that
it
cost.
sucks, but
My goodness. All right. Well, I'm gonna go next. Because I normally don't flap my gums that much when I'm doing this because I want to hear from you guys, but now I have to do it because I'm the leader. Woo! I don't love talking about myself, but it's a thing. You have to do it in this Zoomie. So, all right. So I'm Elizabeth Doty, born and raised in Arkansas, been in Jersey for about 5.5, 6 years now. My accent is very messed up, because I have the Arkansas accent, and then I also live here in Jersey, so it's all kind of blended. When I'm tired, you will hear the Arkansas slang and accent come out very, very thickly. I do photography, videography. I'm not what you would call a baby photographer, beginner photographer, but I am more intermediate, I'd say, not expert by any means. No problem, David. Rock and roll. But yeah, if y'all see the little Zoom chat, it literally pops up. That's so cool. I don't know if it pops up for you guys, but
Yeah, it does.
Now it doesn't pop up for us.
I love that. And then I think you might even be able to like open the chat.
Yeah, you can
that
you
little
can, you can
button.
tap on it.
You can
That's so
tap on it.
cute. I love that. Okay, I got distracted. Shiny object. Okay. So,
Get back to you,
shiny.
Elizabeth.
Hey, David. It's nice to see
Hey.
you back. Hope your pre-workout is treating you well.
I'm really hyped up right now.
You crack me up, man.
I love it.
So we're just doing introductions real quick. You made it just in time. Good job.
Good
I'm
job.
introducing myself as the fearless leader here. And so yeah, I'm a beginner photographer, intermediate photographer. I don't do weddings for photography. I did one wedding, but it was just to kind of like try it out and get my skills up and see, hey, how's this feel? And it's also a previous client of mine who I already took their pictures. So that was my first official wedding. I think it was, I don't remember what location it was, but it was kind of a fancy spot, some sort of square thing area. I don't know. Interesting day. I do videography. So what I'm heading into right now is I want to do a lot of.
Turn right on Clarendon Avenue.
Can you mute yourself, David Lifer?
Hi.
Can you mute yourself real quick?
Hold on, put my earphones on. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. So I do videography. I'm looking to get into doing a lot more brand videos. So basically, hopefully people would hire me to come in, create a kind of a storyline for them, shoot the video clips and piece it together for something beautiful that people can have on their websites. I kind of want my videos everywhere. So that's my big goal, is just to network, build relationships, get some sweet branding videos created, and in doing so, which this is very lengthy, guys. This was not associated with the template at all. I messed that up so bad. But it's
Yeah, I
good. We
think I
have a
missed
smaller
one too.
group today, so it's like it's not as big of a deal. Like I said, this is a learning exercise. We got to just keep doing the template thing and we'll get better at it. I'll get less wordy, but yeah, so just putting myself out there, meeting people. I'm on route to creating documentary films, like the lengthier ones that, you know, I want to show in across the US, maybe across the world. Who knows if they travel with me, but might get some awards, who knows. Really with my documentaries, I want to really reach out and impact people, educate people, raise awareness about the topics that I'm discussing, and just showcase amazing people in this world, you know, just bring to light what they're doing in the world. So my first video that I'm actually going to start working on is about the psychology of cults, CULTS. It's a little dark, a little taboo, but we're going to roll with it, rock with it. It's going to be pretty fun production. It's going to be something that affects my soul just a bit as we move forward, because it's a very, like, it's a good topic, but it's hard to tell the story. So I'll keep everybody updated on what I'm doing. So will be a lot of filming at locations, which is going to other states and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But that's just a passion project. That doesn't make me money. But yeah, I work in Jersey, PA, parts of PA, can't travel the whole state of PA. I don't really work in New York much. I work in Delaware, but all of Jersey really is where it's at. And then with my type of work, I can work from anywhere in the US and basically benefit anyone, you know, across the world with the type of work I do, because it is virtual, it is social media related, it is something I can do from home. So can I shout you out a little bit, Hendrick? Just a teensy? Okay. So Hendrick is jumping on as a subcontractor with me into a very awesome role. And he's just like supporting me as I'm starting up this new arm of my small business. And he's going to be backing me up with administrative support and handling some really great calls for me. I call it qualifying clients. So he'll be walking clients through a good amount of information. And it's going to be very much appreciated, because we hope to be able to serve and take care of a lot of great customers this year and next. So, but we will be providing media content for them, photo, video, stuff like that, support for social media. If they have no idea what a Facebook is, those are our people. They don't know how to start a YouTube channel. I got them covered. That's my background is, you know, media, photo, video, whatever. So I don't have a studio to rent. I would love to build one in the future that is more of a community center for photo, video people like yourself, to come in, have a matcha, have a coffee, maybe even get a workout if my husband gets what he wants, to have a little gym in that area. But I don't think there's anything else. Does anybody have questions for me before I move on?
Nope.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Doreen, once again, it's so good to see you. It's like I haven't seen you in person since that styled shoot way back when, which, oh my gosh, that was a lot of people, wasn't it?
That was a long time ago. Feels
That
like
was a lot.
eons ago.
Yeah, it was like going on 4+ years. I was just
Yeah.
this crazy girl from Arkansas trying to get people together around pandemic time. And we ended up having like 40 vendors participate, which for a style shoot is ridiculous. But we had our cake, you know, decor, stuff like that. We had our models, we had several photographers, several videographers. We got some really great products from that, but I think the experience was worth it. Was a lot of people. We had to do batches of people to work with the models, and then we had to time it because so many people showed up to that's what you get when you open up the styled shoot to awesome photographers, videographers. They just all come, and it's like, ooh, that's why I think people put money, like a cost to it. What do you think, Doreen? They put like a little cost to it to kind of, or they say limit to this many photographers, this many videographers. I think that's what I'll do next time.
Having been involved in a couple different styled shoots, I think some of the ones that I've been willing to put money out for was because One, because there's probably a location that I've been really interested in shooting. I know for some people, they don't get to work with models very often,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Especially if you do families and branding and stuff like that. So that's fun shooting for me. And then depending on the size of the floral installations, usually florals and models, if you want them to be good, there's
Yeah.
money involved. So
Yeah.
so absolutely.
Lots
So
of it.
yeah. But there are, you have to be careful. There are situations where, there's always stories out there of like people getting burned on like, yeah, I went, just as an example, I went to one a couple years ago where somebody claimed to have models, but they weren't really models.
They were like off the
They-
street people. Basically, like they
They
don't
were-
have experience modeling.
They were like, hey, I'm going into some Facebook group and asking some moms who wants free pictures of their family and their kids, but
Yeah.
telling the photographers this
That
is
they're
the ticket
models.
because you're going to shoot models. So you
I don't
always
love
have
that.
to, like anything else, you have to just, do your homework.
Do your homework.
You
I
know.
love that. Words of
Yeah.
wisdom from Doreen.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom. And yeah, so this was pandemic time, and this was right as I literally just started Gig Pickup as a group. I created it, so it's all relevant. We're gonna get back to introductions in a second. Hi, Katie, how are you doing? Hi. I don't know if we've met yet. Have we met yet? I feel like we have. Have you been on here yet?
No, we've actually
It's nice to see
chatted.
you.
Let me get out of this video on the other one.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Let's see. Doesn't allow leave here. There we go.
There you go.
Integrated video settings. Oh, it must be with my new phone.
Yeah. If you want to mute, I'm going to finish this story real quick and then we'll get right back to you. Okay. Thank you. All right. So yeah, with Gig Pickup, that's right. When I started this, I was like, I need friends. I'm from Arkansas. I don't know anybody except for my husband. And I wanted videography friends because like that's my background is videography. So I created the Gig Pickup for just videographers. I was like, I need to make some friends on the internet. I need to. And I decided to host a styled shoot of my own. I would say it was pretty successful. There were a few moments where it's like, it's just a really long day for the models, really long day for whoever participated. But I think we got some good quality experiences and we got some good photos as products. And I think I actually got some videos, which was really cool. So it was a great first event. Everyone was still masked up. I'm pretty sure we were all like, this is right as COVID was kind of for the first time, kind of maybe it was full-fledged COVID, but it was like dialing back a little bit. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, I'll call on you in a second, Katie. Thank you so much. But yeah, so after that event, and I had like 10 to 15 videographers, photographers show up. I was like, these photographers are pretty cool. I should probably put them in the Gig Pickup group. And so it became a photo video group. And since then, it obviously has taken off. And this is not to put Gig Pickup down at all or be negative. It's more of like just an instructional. We're a beginner group, a baby group right now. We have very much not even scratched the surface of really giving it our all when it comes to networking. And that's my fault. This is kind of like the perfect time to start doing these little Zoom chats is because we got to build relationships, got to get to know each other, got to network. You never know what person's going to jump on these Zoom chats. They might have a job for you. You might have a job for them. They might have the camera that you're trying to purchase. So there's a lot of good benefits from just getting in front of people, chit-chatting, and who knows, like you might be filming their kid's wedding in the future. You just or doing photos for their wedding. So there's a lot of cool ways to just benefit from these times of networking. So I think I said everything from my template. I don't think anyone has any thoughts or questions just yet. We're gonna go to Hendrick, but I'm gonna talk for a second and I'm gonna tell everyone the template once again. So we're just getting to know each other. This is practice. You don't have to be perfect at this. In the future, if we have say 15 people on, I'll try to be like real snappy with it and real quick with it. We might even put a little timer on. Just because we have so many people, we have to kind of keep it a little more managed, but we have a small group today, so feel free to talk a little more detailed, the first part of this template is first and last name, so that we can get to know you a little bit more, put a name to the face. Second is what state do you live in? And third, what states do you work in? You can kind of blend those two together if you want to. The final few things is, are you wanting to get a lead photography job, lead video job? Are you trying to work as an assistant? Are you trying to work as a video editor, photo editor? We also have virtual assistants or administrative assistants in this group. So if that's something that you do, just say, I'm looking to get some more hours per week, or my schedule opens up more in January. I'm looking to take on some new clients. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going. And if you have mini photo shoots, you can promote those in Gig Pickup every time of the year. So you can promote 2 people in Gig Pickup. If they want some photos, they can actually go to your mini shoots, get some awesome photos. And if you have a studio that you rent, so if you're trying to rent your studio out to other photographers, videographers, make sure you say that. All right, so I'll let Hendrick go, and then Katie will go to you, and then we'll go to either David or Doreen. How's that sound? That sounds like a good plan. Woo!
All right.
and roll.
I'm Hendrick Moy. I live in New York State, not New York like the city. I'm from Poughkeepsie, so it's like an hour and a half-ish from the city. And it's funny enough, I work in like Jersey and the city pretty often, probably 85% of my shoots. So typically I'm traveling a lot. But yeah, mainly Jersey and this, sometimes like Pennsylvania or Connecticut, but like mostly Jersey. So yeah, I'm looking for a lead shooting, second shooting. That's what I've done for 13 years now. I have my own business, and sometimes I look for second shooters too and assistants. So I found one assistant from Gig Pickup, so that worked out well. And yeah, just always looking for lead shooting and second shooting jobs as well.
Incredible. Let me see if I have any thoughts or questions for you. He's also our admin. So David Alonso is not in here today, but he's our other admin. So Hendrick is an admin of Gig Pickup. So he's awesome. He's just been doing a lot of great work with us. So I don't know if I have any more questions, but yeah, he's a great photographer. I want to see your work more, Hendrick. I think that's one thing I'm lacking, is like, I want to see more of your photo work and see some galleries and stuff, because I'm pretty sure it's rocking. So that'll be kind of just a fun thing we could do in the future, is to see some of your awesome work. So
Yeah, I'm always slacking on social media and blogging and all that.
Me, so when I look at photos, I look at it in a very technical way. I'm looking at all these little things here and there, but then there's also a secondary layer of how I look at things is, what does that photo make you feel in that moment? Like, does it bring you some sort of emotion? Because you can look at a photo and you might see something different that moves you in that photo than another person. But yeah, so it's how I feel when I look at it. It's very, you can't, systematize that as much. But yeah, anybody got questions or thoughts for Mr. Hendrick before we move forward? Yeah. Okay, so I said Katie, then we're gonna go to Doreen or David. But yes, Katie. Hi.
Good afternoon. My name is Katie Vineyard, and I met Elizabeth through another VA group. So we just briefly chatted. Nothing like in person.
Yeah.
I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia. That gives you kind of perspective. It's maybe about 45 minutes out of Atlanta. So it's a big city, but I'm more like the country part. And I am in this group for administrative positions, any sort of remote work. And I had mentioned to Elizabeth, it may be within your scope for podcasting, but I had done a podcast pitching. If any of you are familiar with it, it's sending out requests to podcast hosts And I had been in an internship with one business owner, and I gained him 25 different podcasts to appear on, as
Wow.
well as 25 guests
Rock and
for
roll.
him to appear on. It kind of was just me learning about podcast pitching, not something like I had done before. So that kind of just shows you that I'm willing to learn a task, jump in, and I would be open for like any email management from you guys, or I've had some experience with social media, managing like a Facebook page. My background is in financial aid, so it's completely different
Yeah.
than any of that sort of thing. But I had 5 years experience in higher ed, but that's just kind of my bubble. My major is communication, so graduated back in 2015.
You go, girl. Anybody got any comments or questions before I jump in with mine? Okay, I just love your vibe so much. And I would have had no clue that we had talked before because I was processing like
That's fine.
30 to 50 messages that day. But I'm so glad we
Yeah.
connected. And you have inspired me to go back to those like comments and you know, sort through them. It's hard to sort through those. I had 3 posts and every one of them had like 100 to 150 comments. So you stood out, obviously. So, and I already like really
Thank
like you. I
you.
hope to be able to benefit you in some small or big way in the future. Because you just got it going on, girlfriend. So good job. Good job being gung ho. Financial aid, listen, when I hear you say I work in financial aid, I hear customer service. I hear I support people, you know, that's so fun, so good. And it's such a good ability to have to be able to even just navigate people's, I would say people's big emotions sometimes. So you probably see that in financial aid. They're like, I need to pay for my school. I don't know how it goes, but I'm sure some people are totally chill, cool as a cucumber. Some might be feeling some maybe bigger negative feelings, but I'm sure that job comes with its ups and downs. But you got a pretty good head on your shoulders. So, and I think you'll make some good contacts here. I mean, just 25 new podcast eps that your client could get on. That's crazy. That's unheard of. And I'd love to have you as an ambassador in this group if you can. But I'll have to keep you posted on what that even means. I don't want to put too much on people in our group. I want you guys to feel like if you're doing something nice for the group and good for the group, I want you to benefit from it, like deeply, deeply benefit from it. And I don't want it to feel like a job. Like I just want this to be fun, voluntary kind of thing. So, but I also want to invest in my ambassadors. Like I want to invest pretty well into each and every one of you guys who joins that. So, all right, it's between David and Doreen.
I'll go next if you want.
Okay, perfect. You know the template. You practiced this already, right?
Nice,
You got a tattoo
nice.
of it. You got a tattoo right here of it. No.
Nice to work with, guys. I'm Dave. I'm from Kingston, New York, fairly New York, Ulster County area. I'm a photographer. I'm also getting into videography. I'm looking for leads and also second shooting jobs. I travel from Massachusetts to New Hampshire to New Jersey to Maryland and Delaware. So I
Ooh.
travel for this type of gig, depending on how far it is and lodging and all that stuff. You know, I do a lot of shoots down the city in my off season with fashion and stuff with models and stuff down the city. And yeah, right now I'm opening up a studio in the next week, where I'll be renting it out here in the Hudson Valley, on an hourly rate. So there will be a studio here in the Hudson Valley, and I'm always looking to get on podcasts and stuff like that and talk to different people and talk photography and talk anything in general with other different people, as I love chatting so much.
Awesome. Good to know for me and for Miss Katie over here, in case she needs somebody. Okay, so you got the studio thing. You're rocking awesome. You're talented. You are teaching snowboarding, skiing soon. I said it wrong. Sorry.
I just got off the mountain. Come on now.
Yeah, I better see some pics. I need to make sure I'm following you on Facebook. My goodness. You gonna post some of these little pictures on Facebook or something with your epic ski mountain, whatever. How you say it.
Unfortunately, I can't post it with the students because
Well,
I
of
gotta
course,
get
the little kids. I get that part, but But if you see
Yeah.
like a beautiful like moment where the sun is shining, you see this beautiful white mountain, you better
Too often,
clip a
too
little,
often,
take a little picture for me.
too busy. I'm often talking, chatting away with my fellow ski instructors or my clients half time.
All
Or
right.
going,
Snap
you
one of
know.
them, snap one of them if you get a breather ever.
I will. I
Just
will.
so I can see the beautiful location that you're at and you're working at. Your office, so to speak. Okay, Miss Doreen. Oh, does anybody have any questions for David before we move on? Or comments?
Congrats on the new upcoming studio, David.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeehaw. Man, I need a cowboy hat. This is my vibe today. I need a cowboy hat, some boots, and a little lasso.
You've been on this
I've
ride
said
since we
yeehaw
started.
6 times today. I've been on this yeehaw kick today. Okay. All right, rock and roll, Miss Doreen.
Okay, hi, I'm Doreen Laskowitz. I am the owner of Doreen Laskowitz Photography, very original, I know, for about a decade now. I was actually in New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl, born and bred. But for the last year and a half, I have been a new resident of central Pennsylvania. I'm in the historic town of Gettysburg. And, you know, business wise, I'm going through all sorts of different transitional things just from the fact of like moving and moving things over. I also, photography was not my full-time gig. By the way, I taught music and STEM for 30 years in the New Jersey public school
Wow.
system. So my
Wow.
official designation is that of a retiree. Which is kind of nifty. But you know, business wise, going through all sorts of different transitional things as it's interesting trying to, I guess, sort of find your way a little bit. So one of the things that I had always been interested in was being in media and press. So I did start a magazine called Grit and Goals, which focuses on women-owned businesses. We're coming up on 2 years, and I'm getting ready to put out issue number 9 because I publish quarterly. And that's been kind of neat. And one of the reasons I was able to do that is because in addition to photography, I know how to do layout. I use Adobe InDesign, and not just, you know, out of my own learning, but I have my oldest son who's in his 20s. He's a graphic designer, so he's his BFA in graphic design. So basically, I was able to have a in-house personal instructor when it comes to layout and type and all that stuff. He actually designed an original type for the magazine for me for my own branding.
So precious.
Some of the other things that I'm looking to do within my business, I've always done websites. I know a little bit of coding, so I can back end things when I want to customize stuff. I do love the what you see is what you get Squarespace, but I also then will add custom code to add things. Like, for example, I have being a bit of a Photoshop dork and having done a lot of sport kids, especially when my youngest played sports, doing that like Nike poster type stuff. I coded a before and after slider that I put on my site. So, you know, like the one you can take your mouse and you can slide it between the before and after. So things like that. So that's actually something within my business that I'm looking to do, is actually start to offer, you know, web design and really packaging it with, it's not just website design, but doing the pictures, doing the video for it. I also know Premiere Pro. So my goal for the next year, I'd like to really learn After Effects. So that's a learning goal I have going into 2025. And also, you know, expanding the magazine into blogging and podcasts. I started a YouTube channel, but there's not really anything on it yet. But working on that. And then the magazine is starting to, you know, get some, you know, more visibility in terms of some of the people I've been able to interview, which has been kind of neat. You know, just getting to meet a lot of women. So I do a lot of branding shoots as well. I mean, and having all those issues of the magazine where a lot of the women I was featuring, you know, doing their branding. So I have a lot of examples of that. So I'm sort of finding my way here in central Pennsylvania with, you know, what I want to focus on and what's next. So, yeah.
I have some comments and in good comments. You're just so dang personable. I know you
Aw.
talked
Well,
about the
thank
YouTube
you.
thing. Yeah. I want to produce for YouTube channels and I want to produce for podcasts. So basically I will be the muscle behind the structuring the ideas. I would work collaboratively with people like yourself, or others, whoever, and just kind of give them a little bit of oomph when it comes to their YouTube, their podcasts. Most of the time, if you film a video for YouTube, you better put it on podcast or I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to say, you put it on
Yeah.
podcast, it's just audio. No.
And I did actually start one
Mhm.
a couple of years back for my Facebook group, which was originally called Women in Creative and Artistic Businesses. And then I used to use the hashtag Creative Ladies Rock, and so I changed the name of the group. The problem with
for a bit. I might still be.
yeah,
I'm not sure.
probably, most likely. And the problem I had is I actually had 3 interviews in the can, and they're actually out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like I was, and this is a pandemic issue.
Yeah.
I was teaching, and my equipment, I was really due for like equipment upgrades. And when I
Right.
started to, go through the recordings, and there was like the audio was like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I, I kind of felt, first of all, embarrassed, but so I've kind of tabled it.
Yeah.
I actually am working on going to be producing another person's podcast that's in Jersey. And we actually have a barter situation, and I love a good barter. I'm all about a good barter. But this person writes for me because writing is like the 9th circle of hell to me if I have to do it. I would rather create visuals and things like that. But she's a Emmy Award-winning journalist who used to be on News 12. And now she writes for me because I'm going to be producing her
That's incredible.
podcast.
You better.
So
If
So
you need
yeah,
a friend, if you need a friend, let me know. You seem like you got a really good trajectory about how to, like, excuse my language, everyone, get shit done. So you seem like you got it going on. But if you ever need like a little buddy to bounce things off of, feel free to call me. I know Katie probably is open to that too, those kind of combos, and you'll get love, you'll get support, and you'll get some potential new ideas. Me, I'm more about the structure and the system of getting the media created.
Yeah.
Even with that, you have your days of editing, you have your little tasks. It's very like project managery type thing. That's kind of like my path that I'm walking into. But yeah, very excited for you. You seem to really be a magnet to
Thank
good
you.
people, good ideas, good things. And I think it's just because that's what emanates from you, is like you just have this magnetism. And I don't want you to sleep on that. Don't want you to sit on that. One thing I also want to speak into is I think you are probably the type of person who knows when to say yes and knows when to say no.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem saying no.
A lot of people
For
have a problem saying no.
And maybe that's years as a teacher and
Yeah.
all that,
That's
but
wonderful.
yeah. And I love that you mentioned systems, because that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm reviewing within my own habits is we know things that have to get done task wise, but sometimes it's the systems that we put in place to get those things done that make the biggest impact.
I get excited when you talk
So
about this. My favorite
yeah,
topic.
so I mean,
Just
like
so pumped.
for just as a quick example, like I have various notebooks where I was writing down. I don't do a to-do list, by the way. I do a to-done list.
Ooh,
So I write things down when
to-done.
because
That's
I'm
amazing.
answering emails and things like that. I actually write down what I did as opposed to
Love
what I need to do.
That's incredible. Makes you feel
And
good.
it does. And I had
Makes you feel
like
good.
another notebook for working out. I had another notebook for
Why?
logging food, and then my planner and my calendar. And I'm like, why am I having all these
Why am I
notebooks?
doing
So
all
like
of this?
part of my like streamlining systems is actually getting like a day-to-day thing that I can actually put all of those things and log what I'm doing on social
Yeah.
media for the magazine versus my photography business, and eventually for the podcast, which will be part of the magazine. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I'm reviewing systems in a big way.
You better.
So
I think let's tie this back to self-love for a second, because why are we saying I want a system, I want tasks laid out, I want to do these tasks, take care of them, accomplish them? Well, it's because you want to live a better life. You want to live a good life, and you want to feel structure. You want to feel like you're accomplishing what you need to accomplish. And I call this closing the gap between where I'm at and where I'm going. So I'll use the phrase a lot when I talk about either getting work done or just accomplishing something. I'll say closing the gap, and you have to feel free to steal that language and implement it, because you're here, but you want to be here. How do we close the gap and get stuff done? Whether it's in a month, whether it's in 2 weeks, how can we take something so big and a little overwhelming, and how can we chop it up to, I can accomplish this on a Tuesday, I can accomplish this on a Thursday. To add a layer of complexity and toughness to this, you live around other people. Okay. So I have people in my life who may pull on me, may say, hey, can you come do this, that, and the other? And like we were talking about, we have to say yes and we have to say no. And we can also say maybe. We forget that we can say maybe, or let me think about it, or let me get more information. But when you're trying to get stuff done and you have a person pull on you here, if you're a mom, if you're a dad, if you're a school teacher, my goodness, if you're running your own small business, you have a lot of these outside forces kind of pulling on you a little, and you just like, I got to get my stuff done, but I also got to handle this situation that I said yes to, So I tie this back to self-love, because I'm also walking through the very similar process that you're walking through, Doreen, and you are really nailing it. And I want to speak into that, because you are. And it is hard for me to be systematic with the things in my home, whether it's meal prepping, cleaning house, just keeping up with it. But if we can get into a rhythm, if we can get into a habit, we're going to feel better about doing it. There's going to be less anxiety. I tend to be a person who has more anxiety about just even basic tasks. Like, I don't know if that's spectrum stuff, where I might be on spectrum a little bit, but it is just like, whether it's brushing teeth, it's a basic thing, right? But you have to do it twice a day, once or twice a day. Some people only do once, some twice, some 4 times. But it's just that taking 3 minutes, what is it? 3 minutes or 2 minutes to brush your teeth, just pausing everything in your day and just saying, I'm going to do this thing. Yes, it does tie back to self-love, but it also ties back to being regular about stuff. And that to-done list, I mean, you probably have these mechanisms already built in. Like, I got to do my coffee at this time. I got to brain dump at this time. I got to make my bed or kiss my dog or go get some sunshine for 10 minutes. Right, Doreen? So
Yeah,
you probably
absolutely.
got those mechanisms built in already. Like, I got to do this. And then it feels really good to put it on that to-done list. Can you
Yeah.
feel free to pipe in, because you really got it going on, girl. You got it
How does it go?
going on.
How do you keep going on with that list? I like the to-done list. I'd never heard about that before.
I love that.
It makes you feel
Might have to
more
steal it.
accomplished.
I might have to steal it, because I need that validation. Like, my husband, he works his full-time job. I'm here working from home. And it's like, I'm just my own coworker. Obviously today we're co-working, we're networking a little bit here, guys, but I'm my own coworker. And sometimes I'm a terrible coworker. I don't even say hi to myself in the morning. It's like, come on. I don't stop by the water fountain and just say hi, like chit chat. Like, I don't have none of that. So I have to keep myself like, on point, on task. But how do we do
I feel you. Before I moved to the house I'm in Central Pennsylvania, there was a transitional period where our house in Jersey sold, but our house in PA wasn't finished yet.
Ooh.
So we spent some time. We spent a few months at a family member's house, and there wasn't really a workspace for me. So I did go do co-working. And I found that just the act of, I'm packing up my laptop. What do I need? Make sure I have pencils. I got my charger, like that, backpacking it out really motivated me to like, okay, well, now I'm here and I'm paying to be here. So I best get something done.
Get something done, girl.
And then, of course, I was like, well, I won't need that once I have the house, because I have an office, which in the original house plans would have been a formal dining room. But my kids are in their 20s. I don't need a formal dining room anymore. So we closed it in, and now I have a dedicated office. But I'm a complete extrovert. I found that, I like getting out and doing stuff. So one of the things that I'm starting here in my area is what I call coffee and co-working. So I actually reached out
love
to a
it.
couple
Love it.
different coffee places that in different areas, because I'm always trying to expand into different places, where they have, like and not Starbucks. I'm talking like small
Good
businesses
coffee, small
that I want to,
business, yeah.
right, that they
Right.
have a decent seating area. And I reached out and I said, hey, do you guys have Wi-Fi? And do you mind if I post that I'm going to be there at a certain time if anyone wants to come co-working? And of course, nobody's going to say
Beautiful.
no,
Yeah,
because
that sounds so
I'm
good.
bringing people to their business and I'm promoting their business. So I
Hashtag.
actually have a series of coffee and co-workings that I'm going to be posting
You better.
on the magazine site, and
Feel free to post it in
as
Big
an,
Pickup too if you want. If you find
okay, yeah, and
anytime
as
you
an
want to
ex-
post something like that, it's fine.
absolutely,
wonderful.
and an extrovert, and then know thyself, right?
Mhm.
That knowing what motivates me sometimes, I'm going to leave a certain set of tasks to like this time in the coffee shop, and I'm feeling motivated by packing it up and taking it on the road.
I love it.
Now I have some vehicles and for other people to come and just sit and chat maybe or whatever.
Love it
but
so much.
but yeah.
The vibe is
But-
good. The vibe is good. The vibe is matching kind of like the values and the motivations of Gig Pickup. So it's very cool. I just love getting in front of people, whether it's in person or online, getting to chit chat, getting to see their faces, getting to see their little furry dog in the background. Who knows? Like just people being people and around each other. I don't know how to explain that, but I love
But
that you're
I would love to ask a question, because before
free.
when Katie was talking, Katie, I would love to just hear more a little bit about how did you find podcasts to contact? Like what was how did you go about that process a little bit? I'd love to
Sure.
hear that.
Sure. So I worked with, first off, it was the business mentor, David Richards. He was out of California, and I found him through an internship Acadium. So he didn't really have any like true understanding of, let's say, podcast pitching. So I had to kind of, even though it was a mentorship for public relations, just kind of build up from there. So I really just tried to maintain a relationship with him on understanding what he wanted. And then I got the description of what exactly he wanted, which was education, was spirituality, and also some leadership. And I got a true understanding of which specific niche, because I mean, we're talking thousands of
Yeah,
podcasts,
tons.
right, that he could be in. And then I narrowed just looking for the leadership topic, and reaching out to those podcast hosts. And we used a template to exchange for the podcast host by saying, this is my business mentor, David, and he has this podcast. He can offer this, and this for your podcast. Would you like to be a guest? So it offered the trade out where people are always seeking guests, free guests for their podcasts.
Yeah.
And this is what I can bring to the table. So it made sure to present him in a friendly light, that he's not just a taker, but he's also a giver. And so that trade-off led to the cohesive relationship where, yes, I can be on your podcast, you be on my podcast, and let's drill it out. But it was looking on Spotify, looking on Apple, a lot of research on, there are a lot of dead podcasts out there.
There
Like,
are.
they've just
What
been-
happens to these
yeah.
guys? These
they're
little guys.
they're just out there, and so they could be, doing it really well for 3-4
few
years,
months,
and then they're
yeah.
off the map. So nailing down those, and then sorting out the ones where you don't have to pay to be on a podcast, because some of them, it costs $1,000 to be a guest. And then within his expectations, understanding, this is kind of where like the mid-range, and not like shooting for the stars, because there are ones, that are like
But-
2,000.
Woo!
It's just, too much. And then the follow-up, for that, because some business owners, they're too busy. They don't open their emails. So we did
Yes.
follow-ups. I did second and third follow-ups with the
Love.
emails, being persistent.
Rock star.
But yeah, it's just fine tuning what exactly you want for your podcast description, and then just seeking out those people, seeking out the contact information, because sometimes those emails are buried in there.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It's hard to
you've-
get to them sometimes.
Doreen. Oh yeah, or if you've tried to Elizabeth reach out and it's like they
don't-
sometimes don't respond
Yeah.
because they're too busy. So it's
Or
just
they're
cold calling.
or they don't have a good administrative person. Like most people. So I come from like working with churches, organizations like that. Like that's my history. Is I don't have like portfolio for that or anything. So this is just, I'm very familiar with that like world, right? And some churches, some organizations have an incredible response time. So you'll send either a Facebook message, Insta message, or a direct email, and you can maybe even call them. And that is 100% A++, go them. But that is very far and few between with a lot of these places, because sometimes they just drop the ball. They don't get their emails. They don't even check their emails sometimes. So they might check their emails, but not really get back to you. I don't know. It's just a mess on that end. It's not efficient. Like you said, you might have to dig for the link, the email information, phone call information. It's just when you start to feel, if I'm like, I want to maybe go to their church or something. I want to be a visitor. I want to be a guest. I need information. I got my family moving in from Tennessee or something, like whatever random story you think. Well, if I'm not getting a phone call, if I'm not getting through with email, I'm not feeling safe. I'm not feeling like I'm safe to get up and go to this, have this new experience of going to this church, with seeing all these strangers, with seeing people I don't know. But if you get a phone call from someone within a day, 2 days, 3 days, you warm up to them and you're like, yeah, I'll be there Sunday, baby. And I got my toddler and my husband and I won't bring my dog, but you get the story. So having that, if you can't handle your emails, if you can't handle your phone calls, if you can't handle your Instagram comments or messages, and I did say comments and messages, you need to be hiring a VA for that, a trustworthy VA, and I'm going to yell at everybody here, even though y'all are not my people to yell at. But I'm very passionate about this communication stuff. We have to get it right. And how many hundreds of businesses, like you could audit a business, you could go and just test out 100 businesses and see what their response time is, see if they email you back, see if they call you back. If you send a Facebook message, do they get back to you? And you can just grade them and say they kind of failed, 100% failed. They got a big F, or they got a B, or they got an A, or someone called me the next day on my cell. They had asked me what time Tuesday works for me, and they called me that time. That's crazy. You don't get that kind of, I don't know, communication nowadays. Like it's so, Katie, rock star, you're too smart for this little Zoom chat, but oh my gosh, you're just like overflowing with this incredible intellect, and you're systematic, girl. You're systematic. And that's why I love these types of conversations where we get to open our little, imagine we're around a little, maybe even a Christmas tree, and we have all these little boxes, and all these little boxes represent our skills and what we've developed, what we pulled from working the day job at the Dairy Queen, or working for the photo studio for 1 year. We have all these little boxes, but when do we really get to talk about it? When do we get to open those beautiful, shiny little boxes and pull out some of this experience and just get to talk about it,
And one other resource, because Doreen was
Yeah,
saying
go ahead.
another way to look was there's a website that I included in the chat. It's podcastguests.com. And that is one way that I just found some of the podcast genres,
Mhm.
and they email you a list of people who are
I think
actively
I-
looking.
Yeah, I think
You've heard of
I'm
it?
actually already on their list.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
I think I do get their emails, and there are some looking for guests or
Love.
Facebook groups too. So there's actually some
Yes.
Facebook groups that are specifically set up for, I would like to be a guest, or I'm looking for a guest, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've used
love
one
that
of
so
them,
much.
be a guest or need a guest. It's a really
Yeah.
big one out there. But I found with that podcast link is I didn't get very many responses from just filling out their form, because it was maybe a form that we figured I speaking with David and I, it went to another email, so maybe they weren't checking it. But once we reached out to their personal email for a second response, we got, oh, absolutely, I'm looking for someone. So if you've ever tried reaching and filling out that form, just go a little further on your digging and look for their email, and then maybe reach out that way with a
Awesome.
personable. I also did all custom emails, so I sent out 100 emails. I did, research for maybe more than that for podcasts, but then it was that personal approach rather than
I
the,
need to hire you.
and
100% need to hire you. And I already know
well,
why.
I have a gumption for getting a
You're
task done.
incredible. You're like
So,
a superhero.
And when you mention forms, Katie, I mean, I actually took my email off my website because I would get like spammy stuff. So I set up a
Spammy.
form, but then what I did is that form populates a spreadsheet, on Google Sheets, and then I got I don't know if it's pronounced Zapier or Zapier. Zaps, it's automated thing. So I set up a Zapier that if I get a new row in that spreadsheet from a form, it actually texts my Google Voice number. So I know that there is a new
Lead.
form,
Wow.
somebody submitted a new form. Yeah, I'm a
Love that.
tech dork big time.
Love
So I love all the automated, all that kind of like crazy stuff, but
Yeah.
Zapier allows you so many functions for free. Make is another one.
Yeah.
But you can basically say, hey, if somebody messages me on Instagram, please, put that message into the spreadsheet, or
Wow.
whatever. Like there's
That's
so
cool.
many things you can do, but Zapier is the one that,
Kind of
I
a
think
big
is
deal.
easier to use. There's also IFTTT, which is which stands for if this, then that. So, and
love
IFTTT
that.
actually has a lot of automation for even things in your home. Like if you have a smart thermometer that's hooked into the internet, you can say,
Love.
hey, if I am within a certain geographical radius according to my GPS, can you please turn my thermometer up to this temperature?
I love that.
Like when you're on your way home from work. But that, I know that's a complete aside. But yeah, when you mention forms and not being able to connect people, like I know for me that stuff gets lost. So I have an automation set up that I will get a message.
Mhm.
And I think, the message says something like, somebody filled out a form, get on it.
I love that so much. Oh, that is so
Yeah.
nice. So ladies, I
Yeah.
gotta take a bathroom break for a second, but I'm gonna mute myself. But can y'all babysit yourselves for a little bit? I think David Tang and David Lifer are on still. Just
Yeah.
chat. I hate to say the word babysit, but I use that phrase a lot. So if y'all could just keep each other acquainted or keep each other going with a conversation, that'd be great. All right. Deuces,
David, I'd love to hear about your new studio because I'll tell you, out here in central Pennsylvania, I mean, coming from Jersey where there was a lot more options for renting, like it's lacking out here. So tell me about what your studio is going to be about.
Basically, well, it's one of my 2-bedroom house that I just bought.
Mhm.
Hold on, I thought earbud fell out. Basically, it's a 2-bedroom house that I converted one extra bedroom bathroom. We got 2 bathrooms, one as a bedroom. I converted that bedroom into my studio where I'm having the background. This whole like stuff. Using it for the studio, and the other bedroom is open. So basically, I turn my house into that.
Some of your audio is a little like choppy, so
It's
I don't know if
warbled.
Sorry, is it better now?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Okay. So basically, I'm turning half my house into portrait stereo.
Awesome.
Half the house in
Yeah.
the studio, we got that.
Yeah. I mean, that's something, I mean, not being a wedding person, has always been a challenge for me because I've done families and brandings and stuff like that. But it was nice in Jersey that there were some places like if I wanted to go to like Tempurel, I could, get a white cyc wall and do some fun things with that. But
So I'm gonna add TV and everything. I'm gonna turn my
Oh, sorry, David. It's still garbled. Something
Yeah,
with.
it's like your audio is garbled. It's hard to understand, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Is that better?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
Oh, it's probably my earbuds that are dying. 'Cause I forgot to
Mm.
charge them last night. Basically, it's I'm gonna do in-person sales. I'm gonna start doing a lot more in-person sales stuff. So I want to have a place instead of coming to like Starbucks and setting up a laptop to view a slideshow of their images. I want them to have a place to sit down in a comfortable chair, view it on a big screen TV, and order their images that way. So
Mm.
That's nice. What kind of photography do you do, David?
I do portrait, fashion, families, seniors, headshots.
Now, do you get a lot of seniors up where you are? Because you're in New England, you said, right?
Oh, we do a lot of seniors. I mean, my average senior sale is about $25,000 to $30,000 per session.
Yeah. See, seniors are a big thing out here by me in central Pennsylvania, but in New Jersey, that wasn't like seniors weren't a thing. You know, it wasn't like at least from what I saw, that it wasn't a thing that like, I'm a senior in high school, I get in my own session. But it's a big thing out here. So here's one of the things that me trying to get into the senior market in this area is there's a photographer who has the contract with the high school to do their yearbook pictures. And then they come in for their yearbook pictures and then she sort of hands them like, here's my offer for your senior photos. Let's book your own senior photo. So it's like, trying to,
Brilliant.
it is, and it works really well. But the upside, recently I had a girl that I met through church who was a senior, and her parents are involved in like the music of the church and all that stuff. So I got to meet her. And one of the things she said to me, she's like, well, I didn't want to go to this photographer because all her stuff looks the same. Everybody's shoot looks the same.
Mm.
Like there's only so many times you could post like the same side of a barn with your foot up against it. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? And I'm in there's a big farming area.
I mean,
Or
it's very interesting posting seniors up here because I become very creative with my seniors, even though I shot in the same location. Depending on the personality of the senior, I can make that image look different than when I post it from the other senior.
yeah. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, doing a lot of like Nike poster type graphic stuff, that was always something that set me apart. But now with AI, not so much. You know what I mean? Like a lot
Yeah. I mean,
because
I've also gotten in. I'm now in my high school, my old high school where I live. They're actually I'm one of the only senior photographers in my area. They've just recognized me where I can do high school senior dramatic sport portraiture.
That's cool.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those are fun pics to do.
Yeah, so that's a lot of the stuff that I used to do when, like I said, my youngest son played sports. And I used to get a lot of the parents there because I was like, hey, I'm hanging out for my kids' practice. So, and he would be little, but the big kids were coming. So I
Yep.
would say to the parents, like, oh, you know what? I'm offering this. If you want to come to practice, bring them like 20 minutes early. And I'll
Yep.
do a little, mini something with like 5 or 6 images, have him bring his
Mhm.
game uniform. Let's take some pictures right here at the field, and then he goes off to practice. So like I had sort of like that
Love.
in to kind of very easily. But being in a new area is always challenging because, I live
Gotta
in
build
an
from something,
area,
from
yeah,
nothing.
it's like starting from zero again. Really,
Yeah.
because there's always like norms and etiquettes and things like that for different areas. And I have found that, like, I'm sure we've all experienced it. You see in a Facebook group, hey, I'm looking for a photographer for such and such a thing. And
Mhm.
there's like 60 comments. And I find that out here, it feels even more oversaturated than when I was in
Yeah.
Jersey.
Crazy.
And I'm not sure why, but it's,
You got to stand out in a different way nowadays because the Facebook, when you're seeing all those comments, like you don't really have the opportunity to stand out as much. So it's like my approach
Yeah.
to any social media or marketing is always attack it from a different angle. So if
Yeah.
everyone's in that little thing, maybe, yeah, you can leave your name, but don't think too highly about if your name is within 80 different names. It's like, you
Well,
know,
especially when the post is, I'm looking for somebody reasonably priced. Or like,
guys, I just have to have
they're not.
something.
Those
Don't
aren't.
pass me
Those
an
aren't
arm
my
and a leg.
people.
I swear, how
yeah.
many times have we heard the phrase this year and years past? So also I want to make a slight announcement. It's 2:30. We are going to be landing the plane, which I just mean like we'll dial back our communication and be ending like right promptly at 3. I hate to do that because I really like y'all and I don't want to get off the phone. I don't want to stop talking to y'all because we got more, we really have some more topics to discuss. And like I go back to that analogy of like a little tree and you have all these little Christmas presents around. Whether or not you celebrate, that don't matter. This is my analogy. And you just have all these skills and all these little gifts, and you get to open up your present and you get to say, hey, I have this gift, I have this experience, I have this skill. And it's going to be very different. Sometimes it's very different than what somebody else might have, but you can have so many. You can have 10, 15 awesome skills, awesome, giftings, and sometimes you get to talk about it, sometimes you don't. But this platform, I hope this can be a place where you get to like open that shiny, sparkly little box and show us, what skill you learned at that coffee shop you worked at when you were 24. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Doreen, if you ever want,
You're good.
if you ever want to chat more about it, I'd be more than happy to talk about it off. Pick up, conference
you.
thing, and we can set up our own time and really dive deep into it. I'd be more than happy to talk into it.
Thank you. Are you going to be a ambassador, David Leifer?
If you'd like
I feel
me
like
to.
you already are one without even having really all the merch. So
If you'd like me to,
you
I'd
are
love
one.
to.
Congratulations. Welcome to the team. You're my
Thank
ambassador.
you.
You're one of my ambassadors. But the thing is, with the ambassadors, when we get a decent amount of people, we're going to have like this once a month meeting. We have to, I guess, have this like meetup where we get to, just talk about business, talk about life, but like we really get into the nitty gritty about some topics that are relevant to us, like making money, working on social media, working on our website. Like Doreen has some background with website development. So, I mean, there's just a lot to get into. But the goal is, yeah. And my goal is always to make people money. And so if I can use my giftings to make people money, I'm a happy girl. That's why I started Gig Pickup. It wasn't just to make friends. It's to benefit and bless people, take care of people, make them not feel like wonder where their next paycheck's coming from. I believe that all of us have skills that we're developing in, but how many times have we told ourselves, oh, we don't have time to work on that skill. We don't have time to develop that skill. In a community where we can encourage each other, challenge each other, lift each other up, inspire each other, we should be always kind of moving forward in the direction of let's level up. How can Elizabeth level up today? How can Doreen, David, and Katie level up today? Maybe it's just, maybe you're taking another lap around your walking area. Maybe you take 4 laps and you're going to take 5 today. I mean, that's kind of a big deal to go from I do 4 laps, now I'm doing 5. So that's even an improvement. That's leveling up, I would say. So how can we encourage that mindset of let's level up together? We also have something that is a stair step of experience levels. So in Gig Pickup, I want these relationships to take off, to catch flame, so to speak, so that I can learn from Doreen, I can learn from Katie, I can learn from David Tang and David Leifer. I want to be a student just as much as I want to impart information to others. But how do we do that? Well, we got to be connected first. We got to get to know each other. We got to rub elbows with each other. If we don't have that opportunity to connect, there is no transferring of information. There's no encouragement. There's nothing. When you're not connected, you don't have a relationship, And I know that sounds like a little like, what does that even mean? Well, if you don't feel connected to a person, you're not going to be able to really, if they don't feel connected to you, they're not going to receive information at all from you, barely, unless you're just a superstar rock star, and you're like some celebrity or something. I don't know, but you want to feel comfortable with somebody. You want to have that connection first, and after that, you can build, right? You can build them up. They can build you up. They can challenge you. Oh man, why are you sleeping until 4 p.m. every day, buddy? Let's go. Let's get you up at 2. Let's start getting you up at 2. That's your goal. I'm gonna call you every single. I know this sounds weird. This is the relationship part. I'll call you every single day until you get up at 2, and then we're gonna start getting you up at 12, and we're gonna get you a day job, and I'm gonna check on you. I know that sounds like baby steps, building blocks, but we can do that for one another. We all have something to offer. We have something of value to talk about, to give. I'm a podcast freak. I am always listening to I probably listen to about 20 to 30 hours worth of podcast episodes a week, which is not really a brag. It's just how nerdy I really am. And I'm always digesting a lot of good information. There's things that I know that are in those podcasts that are going to change my life for the better. They're going to get me closer to the money I want to make. I have a certain amount I need to make every week, but that's my first goal. My second goal would be, let's increase that amount and be consistent with it. If I get paid in a way that's not consistent, like that's going to cause stress and anxiety to me, right? I don't need that. So I'm trying to cut anxiety out of my life by ensuring that I have a job every week. If I'm a freelancer, I have to be working every single week, you know? So in gig pickup, I don't want to be mushy and weird, but I want it to feel familiar, like a family a little bit. But yeah, just take it as it is. You might find your new bestie. You might find your new business buddy. You might find some people to co-work with, like Doreen was saying. Don't give up on the group. If you ever have a issue with people, just remember that they're one of many, and they might be a bad egg, bad apple, whatever you might want to call it. I have to remove bad eggs from the group sometimes, right? People who are maybe disruptive, hateful, whatever. Maybe they're just, I don't know. There's many reasons why I might remove somebody. Most of the time I'll give people like 2 or 3 chances to stay in the group. As an admin, I don't want to like remove people, boot people. But if they need to be booted, it's like, has to happen, you know? I got to make those tough decisions. But it is for the betterment of the group. Every time I make a choice for the group or make a decision or make a shift, it's because I'm like, how can I make people more money? How can I get people connected to people? How can I encourage the culture of networking? How many times, if we're listening to stuff on social media, Facebook, whatever, and you hear these people talking about networking, how many times do you really feel like you're just good at networking? You know, do you ever have that thought of like, I'm just like really bad at this, right? I want to crush that thought. I want to crush that thought of I'm bad at networking. You showed up today. People have showed up to some of the previous Zoom chats. This is the beauty of networking, is it doesn't have to be rigid and structured. It can be loosey-goosey and fun, you know. Sometimes structure is awesome. I like structure. I personally do. But I can't structure something to death. Like I can't just be like, yeah, you're supposed to be structured. I'm a control freak and I have to have it this way. That's not my goal. My heart is to let things breathe. Like let moments breathe. Let people get to know each other in any kind of different social situation. It could be a coffee shop meetup. It could be grab a pizza with them, jump on an online chat, a number of things. So I want you all to benefit from gig pickup. The gig pickup is a tool in your toolbox. We have a lot of great Facebook groups, you know, we have a lot of great communities. I encourage anybody who's anybody to start their own Facebook group. I really do. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to create an online ecosystem and feed it daily, feed it several times a day, feed it weekly, feed it monthly, but always tie that back to your main goals and motivations. My goal is pretty altruistic, it's pretty helpful, it's pretty kind, it's pretty nice. I don't make money from gig pickup, and it was never really my intention to profit from creating gig pickup. So I'm always going to keep that mindset. If I get freelancing jobs from this, I'm happy. I'm a happy girl. If I build great connections and I maybe get some sponsors, maybe get some speakers for my events, whatever, I'm a happy girl. But my heart will always be to see people get consistency with pay, level up if they can, if I can support them in leveling up in some way, bringing people to these events online or in person and encouraging them to have a good time. How we all know that we can't change people, right? Think of like the meanest person you know. Go in that place in your mind, that little dark corner of your mind. Think of just the meanest, sassiest, feistiest person you know, and just think, I can't change that person. But maybe I could take that feisty person and I could give them a donut and make them smile. Or, right? You take them, you put them in an environment that is conducive for them to have a smile on their face, and they're still sassy and they're still toxic and they're still who they are, but they're in an atmosphere where people say hi to them, look them in the eyes, say, hey, I'm so happy you're here. Here's a donut. It's fresh. Yeah, it's fresh donut, a little warm still. You can warm even the coldest of hearts with these little things that you do. Like, so, yeah, we're just at the beginning of this whole networking thing with Gig Pickup. So I just appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are just phenomenal. I have some slight things that I'm trying to do. There are a few people who are highlighted to me, just like that I will be approaching to do some paid stuff, just because you guys are awesome. And I see a future with you as a mentor / educator / instructor for Gig Pickup. If people do not get, say, approached by me, it's not because I don't love you. I like you a lot. I like all of you. But this is something that is a big deal to me, to add some structure to our group, to add opportunities for people to level up in different ways, right? Some of the biggest skills that we need to develop to do better business is heavy emphasis on customer service. There's something that I'm very passionate about, which is called quality assurance. I think a lot of people get this right, but they don't have a system for quality assurance sometimes. So that's where we get back to the system of QA, check the stuff, put your final touches on it, put your final tweaks on it before you send it out. With photos, obviously this is very good process to have, because you don't want to have weird color correction or have something that you could have spent 2 minutes on to edit out on someone's final picture, you know? So quality assurance is a big deal for me. So I would love to speak on that and just bring emphasis to that in the future of like, for example, if you write a book, are you going to edit that? Are you going to just put it out there and just write one draft? Or are you going to go chapter by chapter or paragraph by paragraph? And are you going to actually do the QA, the quality assurance work, to make sure you don't have typos, to make sure your tenses are correct, to make sure you're using the right words? Because sometimes we think of words and we're like, yo, that's not the right word to use, because you look it up in the dictionary, you thought it was one way, but it's actually something that completely doesn't even make sense. So that's a couple of great topics for the future that I'll probably speak on, but I will be bringing in instructors, mentors, and there will be pay involved. So right now, I want to approach people the right way. I want to be respectful of their time, their energy, their resources. If they do decide to step into that mentor / instructor role, it is always temporary. There's a start date, end date. Your class will either be in person or online or both. I will be your moderator for your classes, but just to help things go smoothly and to like spank people who are not doing well in the class and just maybe chit-chatting too much in the background, being just, you know, the whole ruler thing. I'm going to bring that back, you know. Kidding, big joke. But yeah, I see the future for Gig Pickup. It's bright, it's beautiful. People are making money, people are smiling a lot more, and we're tackling this problem of money insecurity. You run into money insecurity when you are hopeless, feeling a little worried about where your next paycheck is going to come. And I want to knock that problem out for people. I want to be able to say, hey, jump in as a photo assistant for so-and-so. I usually make $20 to $25 per hour for photo assisting. Some people tip me afterwards and they pay me a little bit more than that. That's pretty awesome. So how it's so cool to be able to just go work for 8 hours, 10 hours and have instant cash that day. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and it should be elevated. I think a lot of people already do photo assisting, maybe video assisting, whatever. I think a lot of people are already on that. They know that it's decent money for decent work. You know, it doesn't, you know, break your body, crush your soul. It's great to be able to do that. But some people need that start. They need to know, hey, you can make $200, $300 today just by doing this role, you know? So we're starting at, you know, at the base where it's like photo assist, I say, but we're moving up to, you know, second shooting, lead shooting. Those are the jobs that you really, you know, really want sometimes because they're higher dollar per hour, right? We always want those higher dollar per hour jobs, but it comes with more responsibilities, more stress, a lot more planning on for the lead roles, you know. But I just think that we all need options sometimes if we're trying to make a little bit more money. The type of job I do, like the role that I fill, is I like to work alongside businesses, business owners, brand managers, whoever, and I want to support the mess out of them. I support them maybe for a short amount of time, maybe a longer amount of time, but they have to get unstuck. If their feet are stuck in mud or tar, whatever you might call it, and they are not moving forward in their social media, maybe their website has not been touched for years, they have not updated anything on their site, maybe the links are not clickable on their site. Doreen, you know how annoying that can be, is if your link is not clickable and you go on people's websites. Katie, you probably run into that too. It's like, can y'all just fix your links, right? It's basic stuff, but people get so caught up in running their business that it's like some of these little things that their customers see and experience, they don't really want to touch it because they're like, I'm trying to make payroll. So all these other little things, it's like sometimes coming in as someone who's on the outside coming in, you know, seeing behind the scenes, I can see things that maybe other people aren't aware of or don't see. Maybe I can even see where people are losing money, or maybe they're throwing hundreds of dollars running these ads, but what they really need to do is start a new video project and put stuff on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Maybe they need to approach things at a different angle so that instead of fighting with 80 other photographers for that little arm and leg post, we all know those posts, arm and leg, oh, please don't charge me too much for professional services that you've been developing yourself in for 20 plus years. We don't have to fight as much if we take things from a different angle. And in networking, you never know what kind of a community people are tied to. So I'm just going to use Doreen as an example. Doreen might meet somebody who vibes with her way too much, way too quickly. And it's like putting a glove on that is just perfectly fits your hand. When you meet that person, you're like, wow, why did it take so long for me to meet you, right? Why? I needed to meet you like 4 years ago or something. And everything seems to just make sense that you guys would do some sort of business together. Maybe you're a referral system where you refer them, they refer you, whatever. Maybe you actually legitimately bring them on as a sort of partner or something, whatever. But you never know who you're going to be speaking to face to face. You never know who's going to name drop you to the right person. So you want to be name dropped. You want to be trying to rub elbows with people, get face to face, either on the Zooms, the online chats, or in person, right? You want to stick in people's minds. They may not always remember your first name. I probably will remember everyone's first name here today, but they might not remember your first name, but they remember your energy, how you make them feel, your body language, how you present yourself. They pay attention to all of that. And those signals that they're having sent to their brain, that's gonna be a memory of you. And you want to come up in their mind the moment they need a photographer, the moment they need a podcast specialist, the moment they need a Santa photographer, I don't know, a super awesome photographer like David Tang, whatever, however you would say it. If they have just even an inkling and a memory of having a good time speaking with you, talking with you, maybe you made them laugh with your stupid joke, and I say stupid jokes all the time, they're going to remember that and they're going to have you top of mind, right? And let me just speak to the value of that one person that Doreen connects with. That one person has Doreen's audience. And guess what that one person has been doing for the last 5 years, right? They have been mentoring people in their audience. They have been building relationships with people in their audience. They've had online in-person events with their audience. Maybe they have a podcast they've been running. And for years and years and years, they have been doing what? They have been building a relationship with their audience. And their audience, they're not filled with just people who just watch stuff. They're filled with engagers. Engagers comment, engagers be their raw and wild and authentic self in the comments. They send messages, they send emails, they repost. Those are what I call engagers. And those are the people that person has been working with. And guess what? That person has been developing it for 5 years, and Doreen meets them, shakes their hand, takes them out to coffee. And now Doreen's going to be a guest on their little potty, on their podcast. And now her links are going to be shared. And all of that community that's already been built up and beautified, and that beautiful little ecosystem over there, we now have a little bridge to Miss Doreen. And now Doreen comes from what I call a different angle. She does websites. She does photography. And this person doesn't do websites, doesn't do photography. But what did they do for 5 years? Put their heart and soul into investing into people. So they built their community. They bring value to their community, maybe just by flapping their gums and running their mouth, but they bring value to those people. And now Doreen has $20,000 to $30,000 in her bank account within that year because she shook someone's hand and took them out to coffee. Because
I
someone,
could use another $20,000 in my bank account.
I think you could. I think we all could use a little 20 to 30,000 slush fund. Had to steal that phrase from David. But yeah, as you can see, the beauty of networking, it's, you never know what you're going to get when you show up. Like with these little episodes that I run, like these little Zoom chats that I record and, post later, you never know who's going to show up, when they're, if they're going to show up for 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever. But the intentionality is what I look for in people. If I see someone is intentional, that is a big deal, because not a lot of people on this planet that we share this rock with have the ability or the desire to be intentional, even with just an hour of their day. Right. So you guys saw the value of jumping onto this thing, which I want to always be a cheerleader and say, good job. You took a step forward to do something that was a little foreign, a little unfamiliar, with someone who you barely know. And there's a reason for it, So long as my video, makes it to YouTube, all of this is going to be put out for the internet. We're creating content. It wasn't that hard, was it? There's more to be discussed. There's always going to be more to be discussed. But that's why in building these relationships and taking the time out of your day, you have to look to the future and say, the future is bright, and we have a lot more bonding to do. We have a lot more chit-chatting to do, and we have a lot more strategizing to do. The people that I vibe with the most are people who care about strategy. I'm a very boring person. I might have a fun, bubbly personality, but I'm very boring. And I love things just to be real neat, put together, structured, scheduled. That's why I'm probably going to rock it out as a project manager. But there's something so beautiful about just feeling no pressure to perform, but bringing your best to the table still. Like today, you shouldn't have felt an ounce of pressure to perform. But yet you come to this table, so to speak. We all sit down, we have a little chitty chat, and then you start to unpack. We're not unpacking trauma here, guys. We're unpacking skills. We're unpacking experience. We're unpacking even just our week, if we had a crazy week, right? This is what this is for. This is the community aspect that I so desperately wanted to bring to Gig Pickup for all these years. But as you know, reading my posts that are very lengthy, that's boring. Nobody wants to really read the. If you're a dedicated Gig Pickupper, you'll read through as many of posts that I make. But getting these little video chats, it's much better. It's much more engaging. It's much more fun than just reading like a block of text, right? You'll have other posts like with photos. Those are a little more engaging. There's some videos. They're a little more engaging, but nobody really clicks through to any videos that I post. I'm going to say, I'm just going to speak from my awareness of social media because they don't really know me. They don't have a connection with me. They don't know me. I'm just some foreign person to them. So if you have spoke to me before, you might be like, oh, let's spend a few seconds watching Elizabeth's little update video, right? But it starts with connection. If you're more connected to me, you're probably going to watch my content. If you like me, you're probably going to watch my content. And maybe you'll watch it all the way to the end. Who knows? But if you don't have that connection with your audience, just speaking from your social media perspective, if you don't have that little connection built up, it's hard for you to even really get information into their ears. It's hard for you to get their eyes to spend time reading through your block of text. It's better actually to just be bold, be brave, put yourself out there on video, right? Maybe host some Zoomies like I'm doing, right? Because it's kind of just the easiest way to connect is through these little chats or video. You know, put your face out there. Talk about what you're doing. One of the people I look up to is Alex Hormozy, multi-millionaire, whatever the heck he is. Him and his wife are awesome. You guys may or may not be familiar with him. Alex spends 4 hours every day talking about his stuff, what he's promoting, what he's doing. 4 hours every single day. He's either making videos, making posts on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. He spends 4 hours talking about his mission, right? Could be on phone calls. He could be having a little sales call or something and be telling people about his what he's got going on. That is a shocker to me because a lot of times our first initial thought of when we're promoting ourselves is no one's really going to listen to this. No one's really going to read this. No one's really going to engage with this. Because why do we think that mindset or think that way? Is because for months and months and months, we've seen very little engagement with our posts. And so we have this mindset of, oh, I don't need to talk about this again. People are going to think I sound like a broken record. I'm just repeating myself. What is up with that? What is up with that? What is up with that? Right? That mindset will keep you from doing big things on the internet. That mindset will always cripple you. You need to have someone like me in your corner yelling at you and saying, you got this. If I can speak into any situation for social media, I will. Like I'm very well versed in podcasts, YouTube channels, et cetera, even things to do with social media. I'm an avid Instagram scroller, doom scroller, but I do it because I'm passionate about content creation. I'm passionate about getting people's attention so that, you know, maybe they are a new lead for my business and they might make me $4,000 to $7,000 each month just from them alone. They might have some very wealthy buddies who really desperately need some help on social media, and they might get me $30,000 to $50,000 every year because I'm doing what I do. So I'm going to keep making content. I encourage each of you guys to find a friend who maybe they know a little bit about social media, maybe they don't, but find a friend to watch your stuff. If you're making videos, say, hey, can you watch this? Can you give me your honest feedback, right? You are not allowed to say that you are not ready for this anymore because I believe you are ready. And I know I'm speaking into the void, but it's catching someone's ear. I know it. Anytime I start working with a new client and they're scared of being on a video, it's really fear. It is fear. It's intimidation. It's fear. They're like, I don't want to be on video. It's scary for me. I feel like I sound stupid when I talk. Like these are the things that I hear. And I don't think I would work with someone that I thought sounded stupid, right? I don't think I would start working on a media schedule with them, to build videos with them, to build podcasts with them if I thought they sounded stupid. So any negative talk, I try to like knock it out. You can't change how your face looks. Maybe you can wear makeup or get some sort of new work done with like plastic surgery, but This is your mug, you know, you're born with this. It's going to look like this forever till your last day on this earth. So get used to it, get happy with it, get feeling funky and fun with it, because that cannot be a reason why you don't make content. I have a certain type of voice. My voice is not going to sound great to some people. Some people may say, oh, she sounds so nasally. Yeah, I do. That's my voice. So I'm going to never let even comments on social media from trolls, I'm not going to let them get to me like, oh, she's got a big nose or something, right? I know I'm putting myself down a little bit, but these are the kind of things that people say to themselves when they say, I'm not going to make videos. But what if you've been primed and ready for years and you just need some annoying woman on the internet, on a Zoom chat, telling you that it is time to start making media that engages with your audience better, that forms relationships with your audience better, and that creates not just lazy audience members who just observe, but it creates engaged audience members who actually share your content. And if you ask questions or take polls, they're going to be the ones in your comments saying this, yeah, they're filling out all the information that you need because you're taking a poll. You know, this is the kind of engagement we want, right? Because this creates leads. This is just another magnet, you know, this is just another way to get people funneled into your website so that they can do business with you, right? Or have you, they might see you one day randomly on one podcast and be like, I want that one. I want him on my podcast, right? We got to be a little bit more comfortable with our faces being seen and our voices being heard. I'm here just as a cheerleader. I yell a lot. I'm sassy. I'm bossy, but it's all for your betterment, because I know that the time frame that we're moving into as a world, as the incredible world that we live in, media is king. Media is king, and you have to dominate your sector of media, and you should dominate your sector of media. Dorian, I'm going to go back to you because you seem to have a really good ability of knowing what to say yes to and what to say no to. And I just applaud you so much for that today, because I don't get to see that enough, where it's just very evident that you have done this thing for 20, 30 years, right? My husband's a teacher, so he's he is a teacher, and he transitioned to working as a full-time tech, but you know, he's got that history similar to you. But obviously you got more years on him. So you've been doing that for so long. And I've worked in schools before, so I know what it is like to work with kids. And you just developed yourself, you developed your identity, you developed your voice, and you're really what I call a perfectly baked potato. You know, you stick a fork in you and you're done. Right? And stick a fork in you and you're
Well,
done.
thank you.
You got this nice little steam coming off of you. You're not too crunchy because you've been in the oven too long. Who likes crunchy potatoes? Unless they're like French fries, that's fine. But if it's a potato, like, you need that stuff to be steamy, juicy, warm, gold, you know, just perfectly cooked. And if you undercook it, if you're not ready to go out and do social media in a big way and engage with your public, you're a half-baked potato. Nobody wants to eat a half-baked potato. Right? So maybe you need a little bit more time in the oven. Maybe you need some mentorship. Maybe you need some guidance. Maybe there's some identity stuff that we got to go back to, because identity shows in your videos, right?
Well, all day today I shall be holding on to the I am a steamy potato.
I'm a steamy potato.
There is certainly worse things in life to be called, but you know, I'm a
Right.
steamy potato.
You're a steamy potato. And I know you've been making content and creating content and putting stuff out. You're putting your fingertips out, or fingerprints out in the world by photos, your magazine, your stuff on Facebook. You have everything you need. It's all within you. It's all within you. Sometimes we do need to network and get something from the outside world to jumpstart us or get us going in a certain direction, a trajectory. I think if you have the mindset of like, I want to make good money, I want to do good business, I want to take care of my customers, my clients, that's always a good set of values to have. And I think we all kind of walk in, we already have that going on, right? We're not like, oh, I just want to scam people. Yes, so fun to scam. Oh, I just love scamming. Like, I don't think any of us have that mindset or that heart. So we're already doing really good. We need to see where we're at and see that today is beautiful, right? I do meditations and all that. So I always come back to today. I can't be thinking about the past when my mother spanked me too hard. I can't be crying about that, right? I'm from the South. We spank there. So here in Jersey, I guess people don't spank much here. I don't know if that's a thing. But can't be thinking about the past too much. And when you think about the future and you're afraid and you feel fear or intimidation or anxiety, it's because you don't want something that happened in the past to happen in the future. Like that was negative, right? You don't want it to happen. You don't want to feel those feelings of pain or embarrassment or fear or intimidation. You want to go through that again because you felt that in the past. Are you leaving? Awesome. It was so nice to meet you, Katie.
Jet, nice to meet you.
You're
Bye-bye.
awesome.
I'll see you guys later.
We have more to talk
Bye,
about in the
Katie.
future.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Yeah, I've
so
got to
I'll
get
stop.
going myself also too.
Yeah, we're at 3:05. That's actually really perfect timing. So, what was my thought, guys? Just so I can finish my sentence. I would feel
I
so
don't know.
silly if I. Oh my gosh.
Steam,
No help.
steamy potatoes.
Yes, so we want to stay in today, right? Because if we're thinking about the future and we have anxiety about it, there's a problem, right? So let's not have anxiety about the future. Let's stay in today. Take a breath, take a breather. Remember, this community is here for you. If you ever need to reach out and talk to me, you can. I like to do like 15-minute one-on-ones, so 15, 1-5. And those are really great for people to just be able to talk, have a safe place to chit chat, talk about business, talk about life. If anybody can stay on, that's great. But anybody who wants to dip off, I've recorded the video. So I want you guys to rewatch this because I got some content creators on here that I'm looking at right now. And this content is something we made together, right? So be proud of it. Listen to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself when you're listening to your voice as you play back. Y'all all sound very smart. I wouldn't lead you the wrong way. But yeah, thanks for jumping on today and networking.
Yep.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for having us. Lulu.
All right, have a good one, David.
Take
You want
care.
to talk about Santa for a second? And then I'll
Sure,
let
if
you
you
go.
want to talk about Santa, sure.
Cool. So yeah, he's getting his outfit done this week. If you I know I'm late with promotions. I should have been promoting like earlier this year. But if you do need a little Santa Claus action, you let me know. I think we talked
Yeah,
about
I'm
this.
trying to sit there and see because December just got kind of janky. I just got off the phone and like
So much
got 3
stuff.
more dates booked up. So I'm like trying to figure out because I wanted to do something for all my friends and family.
Oh,
Just so
oh
I
my
can do
God.
something
I would
like,
cry,
you know what I
happy
mean? Like
tears.
just as
Yeah.
a personal thank you for
And then the
everybody.
pictures that come from that is just like so sweet. Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah.
but I'm trying to figure out the timing of it, but it may be a little too late since it's already December-ish. I was hoping
Yeah.
to either get it done this week, but um
And
but
also, if
let
you
me
need,
know for like
yeah,
if he's willing to do this for next year, like just let me know like ahead
in
of time,
advance.
and then I can book a date like early on in the year so that
Yeah.
I can settle, but I don't know if I can handle it this
Yeah.
like
Also, just think
slate's
of
a
this
little
as,
crazy right
think
now.
of this as, let me swing this in a different direction and shift the perspective for a second. This can be a very casual thing where he comes in for 1 or 2 hours if you need that, and it doesn't
Okay.
have to be a big thing. I know you're a photographer, so you want to go big or go home.
Yeah.
But people can also be blessed just by seeing Santa and just like getting that, like those sweet moments. It's like the moments between the kids, the family, the cousins. Sometimes it's actually very funny when like adults pose with Santa because they're just like, they feel a little bit like a kid again.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're kind of offering that experience. When it comes to professional photography, that's just an extra layer of doing more. And maybe you want to do that and you want to go big or go home, but you can also leave it up to a cell phone. You know, if someone has a nice Android or whatever, iPhone, whatever, pop that puppy up, get some group pictures. I don't know. It can be very low pressure, you know?
No, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out
And then your date, is it like you're trying to bring everyone all together in that specific day?
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
the thing is
Yeah.
this is the matter of just getting everyone together because I said it would be one of those things where I would want to let them know ahead of time because
Of course. So
that
they
would
can plan
be
for it.
either a weekday evening or a Saturday or Sunday. But as
Perfect.
it is, there's
It's a
only
little too like rushed for,
3 Saturdays, 3 Sundays left, and
yeah.
I'm booked for 3 of them for Saturday for Santa pictures
Yeah.
but for companies.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem. And like if they need any other Santas, let us know. We're
But
doing
yeah, if
super cheap
I'm gonna
prices this
reach
year.
out to a
So
few people to sit there and see if they need something. I know
yeah,
a friend of mine, they have a space. They do event planning. So
nice. If they,
uh
yeah, so Santa can work Saturday, Sunday, and I can talk to him about the weekday evenings.
okay.
I absolutely
Okay.
can. I just have to like to say, hey, he's always usually available, but I just have to double check with him. But
Okay.
this
Yeah,
is
if you
our
can send me
first
the
year,
photos of
so
what it'll look like at the end. It'll help a lot of
yeah.
the client my network. So
Yeah, we don't have a location though, so I might have to set up like a little fake like
but you don't
little
have to. It doesn't have to be
setup.
fancy. I just need to see the outfit.
The
That's it.
outfit, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
get David
Not
his
really that.
outfit. Just picked
Yeah,
up
you
his
don't need to do the
boots
whole like.
yesterday. The whole
Yeah,
shebang.
it
Okay,
just
cool.
needs to be, just so that because that's the first thing they'll ask. It's like, oh, what does it
Yeah,
look like?
even just you, like even just you saying, yeah, I might possibly use him. That's a big deal for me. So like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh no. I mean, as
I
I
think
said,
he's gonna be booked.
I wish it was just earlier in the season so that way
Yeah.
I
I
just
met him
realized
at a
I'm like,
funeral. I met him at a funeral, a family funeral. I didn't even know he was my relative, but I was like, I'm relatives with Santa. Oh my gosh. Like what?
yeah,
So
I have one guy there's one family that I use well that they've been doing most of the Santa things that I go. That's where I keep
mhm.
getting referrals from is from
Oh,
them.
love. And
Um
that's just so the referral thing that sets you up for success every time. And I don't know, there's something magical about Santa now. Uh, so I think that's pretty much it. I guess David left. He didn't even say bye. You didn't say bye, David. David,
it's all
my friend.
good. It's all
Um,
good.
but yeah, so thank you so much for just keeping him in mind. This year is like ground zero. We're just building up his Instagram. My husband, if I can get his outfit, like he's actually gonna be like I call him the Swoley elf. So swole,
Oh,
like
nice.
big muscles. He's got a big beard. He does not look like an elf whatsoever, but he's gonna have like an elf outfit and just
It's
be
all
like,
good.
I'm starting his
Um,
Instagram up. So we hope he's like a family favorite and just
Yeah,
it's
I would definitely once you guys get everything set up, like I would take some shots and then basically, come like I think it's usually August,
yeah,
September. That's when
yeah,
people like really start booking it out, and
love.
that's why I
Do
was
you
like, oh, when I saw your
ever
post, I'm like, oh, that's perfect timing. I
oh
still have opening, like my
yay.
December was opening, I was completely
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
Now
Sorry
my
about
December
that.
just kind of got crushed.
We got a little late with the seamstress situation because it takes a
It's
little
tough.
while to like
That stuff is so expensive. I'm
it's
like,
expensive and then you have to wait for the fabric to come in. My goodness, she had swatches come in from New York. So it's like it's just a thing. I don't know. It took several weeks, a couple of weeks actually for swatches to just come in the mail.
oh yeah,
And
no,
it's wild.
I
Yeah,
believe it.
all these little details. But I got his boots yesterday. I'm trying to do like a little promotional video that's kind of like magical with him as we get his like all his stuff set up. And that'll be like a promo video, but really we're breaking ground for next year. So hopefully he'll be booked out the wazoo next year. We might adjust our prices, so just be aware that if he
That's
does
fine.
get a little
I
bit
said
more booked out.
that's not a problem. I mean,
Yeah. Trying to keep it reasonable though for per hour, but
no, I
yeah.
mean, as I said, it just just figuring out which is what kind of clientele and stuff like that. So next
Yeah.
year, I don't know. I have to decide. I have to figure it out. But I'll think about it.
Absolutely. And you got time, you got time, you got time. So people do
You
that.
always think that you have time, and
You
then all of a
think,
sudden.
well, you're busy. I think you're a little busier than most, I would
Well,
say.
this year I have to say this year has been I've been very fortunate and very blessed. So I'm
Mm,
like very but I want to keep the momentum going. So, but
yeah,
like right now, it's like my wife always says, "Oh, you always panic because there's not enough things booked ahead." But I'm like
yeah.
with corporate
But
stuff,
sometimes it picks up like, and you're blocked for several months
yeah, it's
even.
just
It
it's
picks
always
up.
last minute. It's always within the month. So it's
Oh,
like,
you
but
never feel like, yeah. So she's trying to like tell you, hey, don't go with the anxiety thing right now. You're good, you're good. She sounds
correct.
awesome. I was gonna let
So,
you know that I am hireable, so if you need any support, even a assistant,
okay,
I
well,
do
that's good to
video
know.
editing, videography, photography.
You do
I'm
content
still
creation?
new. I do, yes.
Okay.
My biggest issue is when someone asks me that, I don't have my website up yet, but I
Okay.
do want to do a lot more reels. So reels is where it's at.
Yeah. If
Even
you can
just
send me a few reels, because I've been I'm redoing my site in January because I say that every month, but
yeah,
this definitely is January because January is slow
yeah,
finally.
great.
So I don't have any. Usually by now, within the first week, my next month starts shaping up. But I
Yeah.
know I expect January to be slow. I have one major campaign in January.
Yeah.
Great. So
Yeah.
that'll cover for the month. So as far as for expensive, so I'm not really worried.
Yeah.
But I want to start getting in place content creation because I want
Yeah.
to start adding
100%.
that to my site as well. I
Like
can't do
as
it
a
for
service, right? Are you trying
no,
to
no, not as a
sell it?
service, just
Oh,
for
just
me.
promotional. Yeah.
So I'm willing to because I need it just for my own promotion so that
Yeah.
I can have reels to sit there, especially for my higher end corporate headshot stuff and
Yeah.
everything like that. I want to kind of be able to get a reel or either not necessarily a reel, but I might. I have to reach out to a couple people as far as I just need a promotional, like kind of like a video, like
Yeah.
it's like, hey, this is what the experience will be like. So
Oh,
boom,
yeah, I
that,
want to do brand videos, so I need to build
yeah,
my portfolio with that specifically. But I'm, like I said, I'm documentary filmmaker on route to creating some awesome docs. But currently, I want to just pick up a lot of great brands. I don't even mind doing it for free to start.
no, I would
Um,
definitely pay you, but I just
but
want to
yeah,
make sure that I want
it's
to
a
make
sick
sure that
video. The goal is like sometimes people put it at the as the first focal point of their website, and it plays through, and it's just like kind of gives you just a few. Sometimes those videos will be a little shorter in, yeah, they'll be a little
yeah, no,
shorter for
it
the
doesn't need
attention
to be
span.
really long. It just needs to
Yeah,
be like under a minute, basically, because I think that's
perfect,
basically
literally perfect.
it's very short
Just
form,
like
but I want
shows
it to
you
be
what you're
professional.
expecting. Yeah,
Yeah, just short form, and I wouldn't need it to be up for the website. It would just basically be for
and
clients,
yeah, to send.
like for clients that basically client inquiries, like, hey, here's because I usually give them once they sign on, I give them a bunch of stuff, but before that, I kind of don't have anything for them outside of a price of
Yeah,
pricing. I
literally,
kind of want to
that's
give them, hey, like this is
yeah.
what the experience will be like. I don't really necessarily need it on the website per se,
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, do you
but
have
yeah, so.
any current, so I know you do photography, rock and roll. Do you have content currently? Because this is part of my job in my small business is I process old media and I repurpose it. So if you have any video clips on your cell phone of even just a few seconds here and there, if you have even professional video clips, it's like right now, sometimes you just want to get something functional instead of not having anything, right? So you want to get it up and going and then plan for your next shoot,
Yeah,
which would
I
get
have
you
a
some
big
video
gig
footage.
next Tuesday. I'm trying to
Mhm.
figure out if I can. It's another event for Verizon, but I
Love.
know they're kind of. I have to talk to them.
If you can get one, like I don't even mind helping you pick someone, but if you can get one videographer or
Yeah, that's what I ideally would love. I
I
would love
and
because
we can edit. Like I have me and my other video editor. So if you need very quick, good edits, we got you covered. This is
this
just what I do
campaign
with my small
is
business. So
this campaign has been really good. It's just the problem is that
they don't like making changes.
no, because it's a big corporation, so it's
Yeah.
like the usage might be a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Oh,
they're
like
very
they're gonna
close,
push it,
especially
push
with
it,
the
push it.
level of yeah. But it's something that I really kind of want to do because I know the campaign's ending
Yeah.
probably in the next couple of months. So I kind of want to at least
Do
have it.
something. Yeah.
So I mean, I intend to do a time lapse for the day,
Hmm. Love.
which is good.
So cute.
But all right,
There's a billion
let me
different,
let me
don't
reach
worry,
out
you
to them
don't,
and see if
you're the funniest person because you're like, you're trying to figure it all out at once and you're like, wait, I just love how you process. It's so fun. Cause
well
you're like,
I mean.
cause you're like,
Literally, my life
you
is this
get
way
stuff
right now.
done.
Just literally, like my
You,
wife will be talking to me, and then something will pop up.
you're like,
I
oh,
totally,
this,
I
you're a
totally
problem
know that I have
solver.
undiagnosed ADHD. I'm pretty
The
sure.
best people do. The best people do. I actually think I'm a little on the spectrum with like autism. But I haven't been diagnosed. So, but I study psychology. So I study
Oh,
ADD,
me too.
ADHD.
I have a degree in psychology.
Oh,
So
that's why we're vibing too much. That's crazy. And that'll make you
I
a
have
good
a BS
storyteller.
in organizational psychology.
Oh, that's awesome. I got YouTube University. Basically had to get real knowledgeable about, say, toxicity with people. And so I had to teach myself how to be smarter than, say, the narcissistic person. So that's my start. That's how I got so deep into psychology. And I was like, wait, I really love watching people, analyzing people, breaking things down. But it all ties back to storytelling. Like, we can be powerful, powerful storytellers with that psychology passion, right? So, but yeah, I don't want to like pitch you or anything, but I do want to definitely be like a go-to videographer, content creator, or video editor, at least under my small business. But we got you covered if you need that. When it comes to actual video on the scene, you can obviously capture that yourself, put a little GoPro on. GoPros are actually really pretty great, even the other types of little video cameras. Attaching that to yourself and just letting that roll. It's a 1080p, usually 4K as well if you want to go that fancy. But that video footage is juicy, 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 good, good, good. And you can make a gazillion different types of films. It's just basically like, let's see what key fits the hole, see what video structure that you might need, the template that you might need. It might be 20 to 30 seconds because sometimes, you're working against people's attention spans. And sometimes you do only have about 5 to 10 seconds to really get their attention. But past that, you've got, if they stay watching, you got that 20 to 30 second little window, even upwards of a minute. If they're really hungry for that content, they're going to sit through, and they're going to enjoy it, and you're going to leave them with a lasting impression. So, but you can do a gazillion types of videos. Are you doing videos with your photos?
No,
No?
I'm doing nothing with my photos right now.
Okay.
So, like my website is probably like 2 years out of date. So
Yeah.
I've literally have so many high-end events and
Yeah.
images that I need to put up. So, but yeah, let me once I start working on the site, which will be day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I gave myself that week after Christmas because I know it's
Yeah.
definitely going to be dead. No, nothing's coming great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna curate all the images that I want to kind of work
Yeah.
with, and then let me reach out to you,
Beautiful.
and then you can give me some pricing of what you can do with it, and let me know. And hopefully, if that way, I can actually have some reels to launch.
Yeah. I think just,
With the new website.
yeah, keep an eye
That would be
on
awesome.
what you already have. Because like I said, getting something functional in your pocket is so much better than having zilch.
Yeah, no, yeah. My social media presence is awful,
That's okay.
which actually helps me a lot of times because people are like, "Oh, are you okay with NDAs?" I'm like, "Yeah, look at my website.
Look at my
Look at
website, buddy. Like, I'm
look at
good.
my Insta. It's like I don't show anything
doesn't
because
have to
under
really-
NDAs like 95% of the time.
It
So
doesn't even have to really represent everything, every little thing that you do. It just has to be a glimpse of who you are, and has to support you getting those other corporate jobs that you're wanting. Like, I don't think you said you don't do weddings anymore. So like, you want to really stick to promoting anything that has to do with what jobs you already
I think for
get
me,
or are wanting.
yeah, I just want to be able to show that there is basically, I mean, the website does a lot really well because it shows, okay, this guy's
He's
done
knowledgeable.
enough,
He
so
can do a
we
good
can,
job.
because I said it really when it comes to commercial, different from weddings. I know with weddings and portraits, everyone's always worried about pricing and everything.
Yeah.
I don't worry nearly about pricing because I
Yeah.
understand on their end they have a budget,
Yep.
right? Like every company, small or large, has a budget, and then
do.
you just scale it to whatever you need it to. I
Yeah.
only worry about my overall at the end of the year, what my hourly rate ends up trying to be. Because I said I
Yes.
don't mind doing smaller gigs for smaller companies for
Yeah.
smaller rates because I understand that for me, it's all about relationship based
Yeah.
marketing. So
Love.
those marketing directors at smaller companies will usually end up in their career, especially if they're young. If they're older, then it's not going to be that case, but even then it's fine. But for younger ones, they're in smaller companies. They're eventually going to larger companies.
They
Like their
are.
career is not going to be the gone are the days where someone stays at a company for like 15 years. That's done. So
Exactly. That everyone's flipping jobs nowadays, and they want a good opportunity. They want a good work environment. They want to make that money, and they want to see upward mobility, if that's even an option. I've worked jobs where they would fire people who asked for even a 50-cent raise after years of being there.
Yeah.
That's
So for me,
super toxic, so.
yeah. So for me, like the big thing is that I'll work for small companies for a smaller rate. It doesn't bother me at all because I know that it's a build a relationship, and then I keep up with them, and then when they move jobs, I congratulate them. I send them something, and then
Mhm.
usually what happens is that they know that when they get the bigger jobs with the bigger companies, they end up booking me, and it works out for me in the long run of things. So
That's
like for me, it
incredible.
just I never worry about, like, I know, like
The
I said, like, when
cost.
people and everything like that are like, oh, it's like, you know,
Some
I, I
people,
have 20 some odd years of experience. I have
yeah,
$30,000 worth of equipment, but doesn't add zero factor because I know for the client side, they don't care.
they don't
Like when
care.
I go to a restaurant and I eat at a restaurant, I don't care how much their ovens cost. I don't care how much they're paying in insurance. I don't care how much their wages for the people
Smart.
cost. I just care about if the food's good and
Product.
if it's within if I can afford it. End of story, right? So
Crazy.
like
Wow.
for me, that my experience is that I just try to understand they have a budget. Just like, like for me, I couldn't hire half my friends for my wedding. When
Cutting.
I got
It's
married,
cutting.
I realized I
Yeah,
couldn't afford half the, no, more than that, like 80% of the people that
accurate.
that I had that I love and worship their work,
Yes.
but I couldn't afford them.
Yep.
And so
You
like
had
at
your
that
budget.
time here in my life, I was like, okay. But so I found somebody that was more within my alignment for my budget. And
Love.
that's how I keep my commercial work the same thing. Is the companies have budgets. They're not gonna go, oh, you know what? I like this guy so much, I'm gonna go and do like 8 hours of additional work to request to hire a bigger budget for this guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Mm.
No one I
No.
know, even when they like me, they're not like, hey, Dave, this is the budget.
Yeah.
But
Love.
they'll remember me because I accommodated them because I'm like,
Mm.
hey, that's your budget. I understand. This is what I can
This is
do.
what you
I'll
can
usually
do.
pare down my level of like and my usage rights and stuff like that. So I have levers and
All
basically that I
that.
can pull here and there to sit there and say, okay,
Yeah.
this will work for me. Or I can sit there. The best option is like, no, I can't, but I know someone that is within that budget that I can sit there and recommend for you that will do a bang up job. Um,
That's crazy.
and
Yeah.
that to me is like business 101. Like I don't
Yeah.
get upset when people like kind of lowball me. It doesn't bother me because I'm just like,
This
that's
is
just
what I can
ego.
offer for that cost.
Yeah, that's ego. That's 100% ego. When people
Yeah.
get like butthurt about that stuff, like to me, it's just ego
And
because
honestly, they don't do business well because saying no to every single opportunity that's under budget, like sometimes you have a potential and that's what you're investing yourself into is that potential of breaking this open and you having more revenue because of
listen,
that.
I said Verizon, they'll sit there and say, hey, we have a 1 hour gig. We really could use you. I'm like, do I really want to go in the city for an hour? No. And do I want to do it for that rate? No. But
But it's a big company, so it's like there's
no,
a
but
lot of
it's an entrance into a door, and then that door opens, and then once you're in there, you're like,
you're
okay,
in.
that was worth it. And that's the same thing. Like
Oh
I got
yeah.
railed in BT because uh someone was asking for dance photos, and they were like, oh, it's like a dance thing, and then it's $20 for
Woo.
like a 15-minute session, and then they get 3 images. And I was just
That's
like, so I was like,
so.
yeah, sure, I'll do it. I
Oh,
was like,
okay. So they were like feisty with you.
oh no, they came for me. They were
I don't
like,
like
why
dragging on
would
social
you
media.
why would you, with all your
Why are
experience,
you so you're
like why would you do it?
disrespecting
I'm like,
yourself,
I go,
devaluing yourself?
listen,
It's his choice.
my work is very simple. Those moms who put their daughters through the dance schools, they all work at a company. They all
Yo,
work in whatever they do. I go, if I
get
sit
that.
there, like, listen,
Mm,
I go there, I shoot their daughters, I kick ass at doing it. I give them a great experience.
mm.
They're gonna remember me, and then when they talk to me, I'm like, hey, and I'm gonna make conversation with every single one of them. Hey, what do you guys do?
Yes,
And I'm like, and for me, it's just that's the network. It's
that's
just building the network
crazy.
because those are parents who work for companies.
They
They're
do.
not, like your kid goes to dance school, that's money. They're spending money. Yes, it may not be a high end thing, but
Yeah.
all that matters to me is building my network and getting my name out and knowing that, I'm doing good work.
And you're
And
kind
then
of like really good at what you do. You can be put in any social situation, take pictures, do a good job. I mean, you're just really good at it. And you have this follow through. You have the follow through, follow through. It's like when you're shooting a basketball, you want to have the follow through. You have that,
But
you
the
know?
best thing is that it's a farm for me. It's like then they're gonna come to me with a whole bunch of gigs that I'm like, I'm definitely not gonna do. I don't
Yeah.
do I don't do birthday parties, I don't do all this stuff, other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Good.
but I have a whole bunch of my friends
That
who
will
do that
do.
stuff, that
Yeah.
do all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just feeding the people that I know that I love and I care about, and making sure that they have gigs that they can do, and and then that in turns gets more referrals for me later on, or whatever, or just the satisfaction of knowing that my friends are taken care of. Like,
Mhm.
that to me is worth me
It's a
spending
big deal.
4 hours doing something that I love doing, right? So
Yeah.
it's not work all the time. Like, I enjoy it.
Mm-mm.
And so that's why for me, like, it's funny because I was like, so many people came after me. I was like, whoa.
That's wild. And I don't think it's healthy.
Well, no,
In that way, I would say that when I see something like that, you're dragging someone that you're not even, if they would never say that to your face. Okay.
it,
I'm going to say, put them all in a room, stir them up a little, say, I'm going to take hey guys, I'm about to take this job for $20 for 3 images. Okay. Everybody, and go. And they are not going to have the same hostility or dragging nature if they're in a room together, right?
it's funny because everyone talks about the industry, you're lowering the industry. I'm like,
What?
no. I'm
This
like,
guy,
no,
this
no.
guy
But the
is
thing is this
this
much.
guy's triumphing in the industry, if anything. So
The thing is this much. Think of it just like restaurants, right? That's a whole industry, just like
yeah,
photography. JC Penney, like, and then there's like this. And JC Penney's not cheap either. Like, I looked at JC Penney, I'm like, wow, that's not bad. Actually, the sitting fee is cheap, but everything else is, I get where they make their profit margins.
yeah.
It's just there's different ways to skin a cat. Not that I would ever skin a cat, but the saying is just
Yeah. There's different
there's
ways.
multiple ways to go
Ways to
do it.
approach
Like,
it. And I think so you are excelling at what I call squeezing the sponge. So I use a lot of analogies just when I'm talking to either my customers, clients, whatever, or just people on the internet. And squeezing the sponge is, I know I have my cup, I got my sponge, I'm gonna get that juicy sponge and I'm gonna squeeze every little drop of this into this cup. I'm probably gonna take a swig from the cup, because I'm gross like that, but like I'm gonna see what is coming out of this experience. And I'm not going to hold my breath about it. I'm not going to be stressed out about it. I'm just going to say yes to it because you see time and time and again that this door leads to 2 more doors down this hallway. And you're seeing this cycle of, I did this, I went against the grain of society, and now I had this great result. And I did this, and maybe it didn't turn out this time, but you're still doing all of these things. And like you said, it's farming, and that goes back to your very analytical brain and your analytical intellectual mind, where when you use that phrase farming, you're like very strategic in what you do. And I don't think you waste people's time. You don't waste your time.
yeah, it's just a matter of like figuring it out, right? Like, it's just about the hustle. Like, if you want to squeeze it down to its bare essence, it's just hustle, right?
Hustle, get
Like,
it.
are you the guy that's going to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm too good to set up a light stand," or am I? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'll go. I assist even. So I can literally go from a $20,000 campaign that I'm running to
Mm,
going and lift and setting up lights for a friend, and or
that's
or
it.
being an assistant on a set. It doesn't bother me. Like, I go get coffee for people still
You're
at
not prideful. That's for
because
sure.
you
Like
don't
you have
like
every reason to be prideful, but that's not who you are. Your values speak for you, lead, like when you enter a room, people know what you stand for,
it's just a
And
matter of doing right by people and doing right for yourself, and just
yeah.
realizing that, like, everything's an opportunity. Like, you just choose everything. Like, and then sometimes things don't work out. Like, I just lost a gig. I lost a gig with somebody, and I felt bad about it because I really liked
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
But I lost it, and I'm like, and I was bummed about it,
You're like,
because
what
your
happened?
ego,
Yeah,
your ego, everyone has an ego. It's just a
yeah,
question, So I'm like, I felt bad about it, but I was like, listen, like, it's a lost opportunity. I get it. I get where they're coming from. I try to
yeah,
always try to see it from other people's perspective too. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, I see it from their perspective. They wanted someone to do all their jobs, and I wasn't willing to do all their jobs. And so
Mm,
but I
you're
could
gonna
do a few of
like
them.
a few of them. Yeah, you could meet them where they were at in some
Yeah,
ways, but like they need to be a little more flexible in that as well. And
it
I
was
think they were
fine.
also probably a little nervous, maybe
Yeah.
had anxiety or something, but
E- Exactly. And so
so
you sit there, I'm like, okay, that's a bummer. I
sucks, but
held that date for a long time, but it's okay.
yeah, I
It's
don't
not a
love
big
that.
deal. Like I said, like,
Yeah.
I don't try to get, unless someone
To
does like wrong, like, but
yeah,
in that case, I was probably more wrong than anything else because I was like not wanting to do like the smaller jobs for it because I just didn't want to. I was just my plate was just
that's
too.
okay. That's justified. That's justified. Your no was justified in that. And I
So
think it's good to know what your client, so there's the two sides of the coin. What does your client need and actually need, legitimately need, and what do they want? Some people are not versed in photography, videography, or social media. Like, they are not really aware of the lingo, what it takes to create these images, to create these videos. So you have to sort out, okay, what are they talking about? Get it all on the table, right? I call it get it on the table talk. So they lay all this information on the table, and you, as the analyzer, the strategist, you come back and you're like, okay, I see this, this, and this. Let me clarify with you, since I have you on this call, about this, this, and this. And then take a little breathing space, some time, and dial back what their grand big old thing is, and say, hey, I see you want all of this, but now after my process, I've seen we can legitimately rock this tiny little thing out for you. Even though this is all we can really do, it is going to be the best possible first thing to accomplish to get you to this goal that you had, because they don't have all that understanding and that experience. So it's like you have to really whittle down their big ideas, or lead them in the right direction. It's like there's this Bible verse, lead me in the path that I should follow, or something. I don't know. It's, you know what I mean? Like, we, as someone who would be more in the expert role of like grabbing this business owner's hand and walking them in a path, I do have to what's called manhandle them a little at the beginning. And once we get wrangled in, now I give them a system of how can they keep going on with their business without being stressed out, and how can I provide value consistently that doesn't frustrate what they already have going on, frustrate their system, confuse people about their brand. Like, I don't want to just throw a bunch of media out there and confuse people about their brand, because like they have a brand, they have something established. Where are we at right now? That's why I go back to that little thing that we were talking about. And I'm sorry for using you as an example, but going back to your cell phone footage, maybe you got some 2 or 3 seconds of a clip several times per day, or you got this moment where you see a lot of people emoting a lot, where they're smiling big, or they have a happy tear, and you got that on your little cell phone. That cell phone video is precious, because maybe it's not the highest quality, but it still serves a purpose, because it captures something that wasn't captured on anything else at that moment in time. So it does have value. And it's just, how do we take all of that? And I don't know, it's all about and you're a strategist, so I can speak to you with strategist language. I can speak to you with analyst language. It's like, when you're working with all these people, they have big problems, right? My problem is this, that they try to put a name to it, but they don't really have, I'm going to be real with you, they don't have the understanding of social media, even how to use a website, even this, because maybe they sit in their office, and maybe they started this business and they're running it and they're managing teams, and their biggest thing is, I'm a leader. I'm in leadership. I have to speak to this team every single day, Monday through Friday, and I have to give them their directives and So they're not versed on Instagram. They're not versed on LinkedIn. They're not versed on YouTube. But people like me, who have all the time in the world, who are obsessive about YouTube and obsessive about social media platforms, like, we can come in and we could just say, hey, you may think you need an Instagram campaign and to blast Instagram, but really what you need is to stick to Facebook, because that's where your millennial crowd is hanging out.
Like I said, like, that's my motivation for everything. It's just like, listen, I'm not too big or too small to do any job. I just go take it on, and basically, like, as I said, like, that's why I find it's hard. Like, when you were talking earlier about, like, people just, like, being holding people accountable, stuff like that. I had one guy that I wanted to help out, but I just was like, listen, like, your first thing is you got to get your website up. You just got to do it. Let's work on it. Let's get it done. Because he's got 2 kids. And I'm like, he's a
You're
sole,
like trying to help him out. You're like trying to get him
like the
going.
sole earner of the family. So I'm like, listen, like, let's
on,
go.
bud. Let's
Just do
go.
this. And, like, I'll help you out. I'm gonna give you the time, but it was like pulling teeth. He just would not do it and would not move forward. And I'm
I
like,
hate that.
just got stuck. And
It's
I can't.
systematic. It's systematic. And the problem is that I would say the general public. Okay, so I analyze people way too much. I'm a very huge nerd about this. It's probably going to help me in my career quite a bit, because you can you can all attribute this back to your avatars of people you're advertising to. You know, if you understand your avatar, you can get in their mind, then you make content just for them, and they'll be addicted to it and they'll eat it up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, but God, I just had a brain fart.
Oh, good.
I started with a good thought and then I lost it. So yeah. So the general public, sorry, and
yeah.
I'll run that up. But the general public, the bestseller list in New York Times bestsellers, the comprehension level for these books are 6th grade. Okay, so these are the best-selling books. They fly off the shelf, and hundreds upon hundreds of people are purchasing this. So there's 2 types of content that I would encourage you in the future if you ever create content for people, for your followers or whatever. You have 2 types of people. You have the general public, where you have to kind of stick to the very simplistic comprehension, which is like 6th grade, right? You speak in plain language, you give them what they need, they give them information, but in a way that they can process it easily and handle it. You might not use big words, whatever. And it's not to say that the general public like lacks intelligence, but a lot of them, it's like, how much attention can they really give you in that second, in those moments of time? Maybe they're a mom who got 4 hours of sleep that night, and she's not processing as well as she should. Maybe it's a college professor who she is just working her badonkey-donk off and not getting enough sleep. Maybe she's stressed about her job. But when you're stressed, your attention, your ability to focus is a lot lower, I would say. And you just need something simple, something you can implement, some nugget of insight to get you going in the right direction. Because the last thing you want to do is be stuck. And my goal for any content I put out there is to get people unstuck, because you can be stuck for months and years. This guy that you were talking about, he's got an issue with systems and following through. You're great at systems and you're great at following through, but you have to understand there's a differentiation between you and this guy. So,
No,
and you know
100%.
that,
Yeah.
because if somebody was mentoring you and putting time into you, you would actually take that and run with it, because you know it's good for you. You may not understand it. You may fight it a little bit, like.
Oh no, like I said, my new website's still not up. So
but look at,
I've been trying to do that all year. Literally, I don't know if you know Gary Feng, but
he's great.
Yeah, but him and I, because he's always trying to push, and I'm like, all
Social
right,
media.
I like being around people like that, because it's just that hustler mentality. Just being around people that, they're always thinking, they're always like, okay, like, and they're always trying to push, and just like, okay. And I'm like,
He's great.
love
He's
that.
very fast paced
Yes,
with
he
his
is
life,
very
and he's
fast paced.
he might actually have a
Definitely
little,
has ADHD.
no offense. I was going to say that. I was going to say people who have
100% has ADHD.
They are super performers, and they are not like the rest of us. I'm like a slug compared to the ADHD crowd, and I respect them and I like them, and I want to have them on my podcast in the future. But they are super, super performers. Just has this brain that just won't quit.
Yeah.
And he's very intelligent, very
runs.
intellectual. Yep. These people just go, go, go. And I don't think they experience burnout the same way we do.
No.
Their burnout might be a little different, but so to round up my last thought, there's 2 types of content that you'll want to create. You got the simplicity, but then you got the deep divers, right? And I do believe you have a future in content creation. You might surprise yourself. You're just so freaking
my brain's
cool.
not built for that.
I don't care. I could be your producer. I can hold your hand through it and whatever. I think you have what it takes. You're that fully perfectly baked potato. You don't want to stay in the oven too long and get crusty. No one likes a crusty, over dried baked potato. It's just, you got to throw it, you got to throw that hockey puck away. But my last most recent client who I had a lot of success with was someone who's already a speaker. He does speaking full time. He's good at it, right? I'm not going to say I like every little thing that comes out of his mouth, because I got my own personal opinions, but he's got the gift. He's got a gift of, speaking. And he was what I call a crusty potato. He was my first client, and I started doing like free work for him, voluntary work, to build my portfolio, to build my experience. This guy was a crusty potato. I said, man, you have been just talking to you, just getting a sense of who you are. You have been needing to start making this video content where you're, talking to people for four years or so. 3 or 4 years, you should have been doing it already. But why did it
Tell me
take you?
that.
Yeah. So I asked him, why did it take you this, like, why did it take you this long? And why did it take you getting yelled at by some Arkansas girl? Why did it take you this long to get you started? You're good at this. You're going to you're going to just improve over time. You're already speaking. Just put a camera in front of your face, right? So his first thing was he started a podcast where he does the live on Facebook, streams it on YouTube, does the whole StreamYard thing. And he started making content that was high level, high quality content with crazy good guests.
Nice.
Right off the bat, because guess what? This guy has already developed his network. He already has developed his network, and he has a little audience. Like, I'm not going to say his audience is like big, big, big and very engaging, but he has a great, good size audience to start developing those relationships with his audience members. I told him, you got to reach through that camera and grab people, you know, it sounds crazy, scary, right? Scary movie kind of thing, but reach out through that camera and grab your avatar and just and talk with them a little bit. He's 15 videos in now, and every single video he's made has been high quality. I give it a A+, and he didn't need me. I was only his activation energy. I was only the person who yelled at him and got him going, gave him a few ideas, gave him a few pointers, but this guy was off to the races, and he was good at it, and he enjoyed it. His guests that he had on, they were so excited to have him on their podcasts and their YouTube channels and their shows that they were like, he's being booked out, right? So that's his potato story. And now that he made it out of the oven and he's now functioning as a video creator. So to round up my last thought, there's two types of content that you'll want to create. You got the simplicity, but then you got the deep divers, right? And I do believe you have a future in content creation. You might surprise yourself. You're just so
So my brain's
cool.
not built for that.
I don't care. I could be your producer. I can hold your hand through it and whatever. I think you have what it takes. You're that fully, perfectly baked potato. You don't want to stay in the oven too long and get crusty. No one likes a crusty, over-dried baked potato. It's just, you got to throw it, you got to throw that hockey puck away. But my last most recent client who I had a lot of success with was someone who's already a speaker. He does speaking full time. He's good at it, right? I'm not going to say I like every little thing that comes out of his mouth because I got my own personal opinions, but he's got the gift. He's got a gift of, speaking. And he was what I call a crusty potato. He was my first client, and I started doing like free work for him, voluntary work to build my portfolio, to build my experience. This guy was a crusty potato. I said, man, you have been just talking to you, just getting a sense of who you are. You have been needing to start making this video content where you're, talking to people for four years or so. 3 or 4 years, you should have been doing it already. But why did it take you? So I asked him, why did it take you this, why did it take you this long? And why did it take you getting yelled at by some Arkansas girl? Why did it take you this long to get you started? You're good at this. You're going to just improve over time. You're already speaking. Just put a camera in front of your face, right? So his first thing was he started a podcast where he does the live on Facebook, streams it on YouTube, does the whole StreamYard thing. And he started making content that was high level, high quality content with crazy good guests.
Nice.
Right off the bat, because guess what? This guy has already developed his network. He already has developed his network, and he has a little audience. Like, I'm not going to say his audience is like big, big, big and very engaging, but he has a great, good size audience to start developing those relationships with his audience members. I told him, you got to reach through that camera and grab people, it sounds crazy, scary, right? Scary movie kind of thing, but reach out through that camera and grab your avatar and just and talk with them a little bit. He's 15 videos in now, and every single video he's made has been high quality. I give it a A+, and he didn't need me. I was only his activation energy. I was only the person who yelled at him and got him going, gave him a few ideas, gave him a few pointers, but this guy was off to the races, and he was good at it, and he enjoyed it. His guests that he had on, they were so excited to have him on their podcasts and their YouTube channels and their shows that they were like, he's being booked out, right? So that's his potato story. And now that he made it out of the oven and he's now functioning as a video creator, so to speak, the potato thing doesn't matter anymore. It's just a way to say, where are you at right now? If you're half baked and say you struggle with your identity, I don't think you're half baked, David, but say you're struggling with your wibble wobbly, your sleep schedule is maybe you sleep the whole day and stay up the whole night. I don't know. Something's going on with the stability in your world, right? Maybe you don't have solid familial relationships where you're like, I got my people, right? Those kind of things can kind of make people a little wibbly wobbly when it comes to stability. And when you have the wibble wobble and you're a half baked potato and you get out on social media, you can get your butt kicked real bad. That BT thing, when they dragged you, I'll call it dragging. Whether it's justified or not, it doesn't matter. But we just know that it was a high energy, high emotional situation. You did not crumble under the weight of that. You
No,
didn't. It
no.
might have ruffled your feathers a little bit. It might have ruffled. It's normal for it to ruffle your feathers because you're like, whoa, what's going on? But did you say, go for the job? I don't know if it didn't stop you from what you were saying yes to. If whether or not you got the job, doesn't matter. It's the fact that it shows you who you are at this moment in time and where you're primed and ready to be able to go into the public eye a little more. The reason I say that is because your identity is solid, you're solid, your follow through is solid, your work ethic is solid, your customer service is out the wazoo good. You observe people, you're healthy in the psychology understanding. You have a lot of really great things going on for you. And I see that you're actually very successful in your line of work. Whether or not you have gaps, that doesn't matter. Because people, and this comes back to what I see in you, okay? And I didn't say this earlier, but I want to say it now. People dream to be in your shoes.
Oh no, I know. I dreamed of being in my shoes when I started out. So yes, I totally get
People
that.
currently are dreaming, just dreaming, not even know how they don't know how to get there, but they are just dreaming to have the opportunities that you have been placed in because you said yes and you had the right keys to unlock the right doors, right? And all of this is because you took initiative and you dove in face first to this whole networking thing, and you've maybe fallen on your butt a few times with relationships, connections, because those maybe weren't right for you, right? A lot of times when these connections fizzle out or blow up or just don't work, it's because you have to have two willing parties in that relationship, both giving equal amounts of energy and time and investment to that relationship. So if I give to a person all like 100% of me, whatever, and they give 10%, like it's going to be imbalanced, right? So now I have to manage myself and I have to say, oh, that kind of hurts my feelings because I give, but let's take it back. Let's reframe this. Let's say, how much are they really giving to me? And then I can gauge how much I can give to them, right? So anyways, I just love where you're at. One thing to speak into, your people are on LinkedIn.
Yes, I know.
Okay. But
I know. Instagram, whatever, doesn't really do.
Instagram is secondary. Instagram is great for people who are in the younger crowd. But it's not gonna really be a place where your clients are gonna be like, so your clients use Instagram. So you have to be well versed in that to be able to support them how you want to support them. So say your clients, they maybe don't know Instagram too well. It might be great for you to say, hey, maybe you don't have to worry about Instagram that much, but like, hey, so-and-so is really great with Instagram. Hire this VA. He or she will rock that out, and that will probably be someone on their payroll in the future. But yours, just specifically for you, yeah, LinkedIn's going to be where it's at. I don't think the website is an issue. I know it's a desire for you to get that knocked out, but that's something you can knock out in a few days. I love the fact that you're curating your pictures specifically for that site. So that's great. Good. Your Instagram presence, your Facebook presence isn't super important at this time because like you have built your network. You've done the hard work that a lot of people haven't done. And they're scrounging around for anything, everything. You're not in that place of desperation. You're not in that place of scrounging around for anything, everything. You're like, if I can, I can pick this job up. If I can't, I'm going to say no to it. And that's a good place to be. Actually, I would speak to, Ben Lau.
Yeah, I know. Ben.
I love watching his content. He's a great guy. One thing that I know about him is that for years, he's done the hard work to develop his network and his referral system, because right now he's not crying about not getting leads. He's not crying about getting booked at certain venues, because for years he has put the work in. And now it's not like he gets to sit back and just, rest easy, but he's sitting back a little more leisurely, a little more casually than, say, people who don't have that network built up, right? So you're going to have to see, and I sound bossy, but you're going to have to see those differentiations between you, where you're at, and where, say, someone else is at, who's just like I said, dreaming to be in your shoes. And there's such value to what you have. I'd say it's actually limitless value to what you have. And sometimes when I talk about myself, I think about myself, I may not think the best thoughts, right? I can always be a little more negative. Like, I talk to myself a little more negative than I would say to any other person on the planet. So it's that internal voice of like, how I see myself, what value I bring. I always have to try to be my own little cheerleader. And I don't think you struggle in that, but I just want to speak to the crazy value of what, first of all, comes out of your life. Like, when you open your mouth, people listen, and people instantly respect you and instantly trust you. That's something that people cannot just manufacture. Like, you can't fake that. So that's why I'm so aggressive with you today about your future, and about speaking, about whatever you might want to do on your socials. You never have to feel pressured to do something. But if you are a fully baked potato, don't stay in the oven too long. Don't get crusty. Don't get dry. Get out there, start trying new things, get connected to a crazy girl like me who's going to say, hey, what's on your mind for this week? Maybe I can record you with my fancy camera, whatever. I am the type of person who, I don't want a, like, what was that word that I was using? So, when a stagnant, right? Stagnant. I forgot this word the other day. Okay. I don't want a body of water that is stagnant when it comes to the work I do on social media. I want a powerful rushing river, right? Because when you have a rushing river, you're going to have a lot more people click through to your photos or videos. You're going to have them engage with your posts. You're going to have new leads for your business. Like, you have also said something about your friends. You want to get your friends booked. If you are not able to shoot that, you send it to someone you love and someone you care about, and you pay their bills for that week because you sent them a referral. You get to be a benefit to people. So instead of one video a month, if that's like your max, that's fine. But like, maybe you can collaborate with other people and be on their videos, their podcasts, their YouTubes, right? Or you could create content on your own, or you could be interviewed by someone like me, and I could just ask you a bunch of questions, and you can just divulge all this information, and then we edit it, and it looks pretty, and it sounds good, and you may not feel an impact if you re-listen to it or rewatch it. You may not, because it's you, and you're like, oh, that's me. Why am I doing this? What's the point? But that isn't the focus of how you see yourself on that video. The focus comes later, when you start to show it to the people who care about you, like you, love you, maybe follow you on socials. When you start seeing them say, I love this video, when are you getting your next one up? That's when you'll start to understand how powerful of a speaker you are, how powerful of even an influencer you are. Because when you open your mouth, people listen. And to build trust within seconds, that's probably why you rock so much in this corporate field. You build trust within seconds, minutes, hours, whatever. You can do it quicker than most people. And that's why you're functioning so well in this realm. Right?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I love to be able to give words of affirmation. It's very cheesy, very tacky, but like, if I don't get to say it to you, my head will spin for days that I didn't get to tell you what I see. Right. And I treat every gig pickup member the same. So it's like, I want you all to feel a part of something beautiful, a part of something big, but gig pickup is just like a tool. It's a hammer, it's a wrench, it's a screwdriver, in your toolbox, you know, and you can utilize the group how you want to, but the biggest part of this has to come back to connectivity. Are we connecting? Are we cohesive? Right. And I think that I'm already starting to see, like, there's a lot of incredible people in this group that they get shit done. They are respectable. I get a little disappointed because I had a situation most recently with someone I had given a lot of, I gave them a lot of room in my life that they could either do great things and affect me positively, or very terrible things and affect me negatively.
Oh.
And it was because I saw the potential.
Yeah.
And ignored all the red flags. And unfortunately, when you see the red flags and you're deep into psychology, you need to just take the information and adjust things the moment you start seeing those red flags pop up, and stop giving people your time, your energy, resources, even your love, you know? If
Yeah.
you're seeing toxic stuff, you need to like immediately start making adjustments. And this guy, for months, I had saw that he has some skill already, which is great, have a little bit of skill. And I thought his personality was fine. And I thought, okay, can I maybe put some responsibility on this person to start paying them for certain roles under my small business? And lo and behold, he's all talk and no follow through. And he screwed around with me for so many months, and it hurt my feelings because I'm a kind person, but I give, and I don't write people off. If I write someone off, it's because they really, really did me dirty.
Yeah.
It's because they really just, so much irking happened. I just could not stay connected to them, or, you know, have that same kind of relationship that I had before with them. So, gave them promotion, time of promotion. I promoted them even. And all of a sudden, those red flags start to pop up, and he starts doing these things that are very like crazy, that point back to the issues that he has as a person. And I'm so disappointed that I wasted time. But now I know for the future, like, once you see those, you have to adjust. You have to adjust what you're giving to them.
No, yeah, I've been burned before. Yeah, I totally understand.
So I kind of disconnected from them as much as possible. I didn't give them an explanation because I'm the type of person who is a leader, and I will always say, step over the line to go to their side of things. And I say, hey, this is what happened. This is what I didn't like. This is what I did like. Try to speak into that. But when you're already dealing with someone who doesn't communicate back to you, doesn't communicate well with you, is showing themselves to be a little all over the place, not very professional, you know, you have to see, okay, there's a mess over there. There's chaos over there on their side. I don't have to step up the line anymore and doctor them and baby them because they didn't fit the original expectation of what I was hiring for. So all that being said, I think you're great. You gotta, if you you're doing great in your field, but yeah, LinkedIn is going to be where it's at. And I think LinkedIn is a beast of its own, and everything about
it is
everything about LinkedIn.
It's so boring. I hate being on it.
I hate it. Why is it so boring? Why is it such a dramatically boring? And the problem is LinkedIn is so mean. They're so mean. If you have links that click out of LinkedIn, they down, I don't know what the word is, but they don't boost your post. They do the opposite of boosting your post. So if you have links that take people outside of freaking LinkedIn, they're not going to perform as well. So everything you do has to be within LinkedIn platform.
Yep.
And I'm just like, yo, that's where the bigger money jobs are. I hate to be just talking about money, but like, that's where our corporate people live and dwell, you know? And so I have to learn how to speak the language of LinkedIn very soon, so that I can support my customers, because I'm not into weddings as much, you know, and obviously have this group and a lot of people are in weddings, but I'm like, social media is like if you can play a supportive role and people can outsource some of their social media stuff to you and you can rock it out, like there's great money. You get to work with great brands. You get to help people in a big way, to say, present themselves well on social media. I mean, it's kind of like the best job in the world. And some of the brands that I hope to work with, like I think that what draws me in is like comedy. So anytime I can do
Oh,
something
nice.
funny or comedic with them, their audience will eat that up so fast. And it's just enjoyable to make. It's fun to make. You've probably seen videos that you're just like, what the beep? Like when you watch it. And it's just so weird and cringy, but it's also like funny. Like you have the belly laugh with it. So that would be a dream to make some of those cool comedic videos for some of my clients.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, brand video. If I could do anything this next year, it is brands documentaries. And I'd like to, if I had my,
That's nice.
yeah, if I had my, like, if I had what I really wanted for each client, I'd do four videos a year. So like quarterly. And I try to do a very simple process with them because I know nobody's got like 20,000 hours to dedicate to this. So I do like a brainstorming session with whoever is in their marketing team or their storytelling team. And then we basically design the project, design what we're going to do. Are we going to do all some photos, videos, whatever? Are we going to do some voiceovers for voice actors, reading a script or whatever, like whatever the production has to look like. And then we go to production. We have time scheduled in for reshoots if we need anything reshot specifically. And then we edit and we make movie magic. So, and they get to share that. I would say LinkedIn is a very good place for those little videos to be shared.
Yeah.
Because I think all of my clients, like if they're not functioning on LinkedIn, like they should be, because that's where the money is, where the corporate gigs are, you know? And so anyways, I'm gonna let you go. Maybe check my cell phone real quick. Nope, we're good. But it was such a magical, wonderful time connecting with you. I hope that am I able to post this, what we've been speaking about, or am I able to post that on the same podcast for our Zoom chat? Is that okay?
Sure.
I think we covered a lot of great stuff. Sorry if I felt like I was yelling at you. I just get very passionate about social media and videography and all that. So storytelling, whatever. But you're just awesome. Please make content with me in the future. So your audience can see how magical and wonderful you are. And I think you can help a lot of people. I think that you're very stable as a human, as a person. And I think a lot of people do lack stability, especially in their businesses. Because I think a lot of people are like very thrown into emotional antics, I would call them, when they don't get enough leads for their year. If they don't get their 30 leads or their 40 leads, they're like, what is wrong with me? I suck. I'm a wretch. I'm a piece of crap or whatever. But you're cool as a cucumber. You have years of experience. You're a good guy. There's so much good. A++ all around. And I would like to put something before you. I'm trying to build a list of people to just bring on to a podcast. Now I consider this episodic. So what we're doing here is episodic, but the podcast is going to have kind of a whole different name, you know, be structured a little differently than what we have.
If you want me to be on it, I'll be happy to.
I need you to be on it about 30 times. I also wanted to hire you as an instructor for a few classes in the future, and I would love to be your moderator for your classroom. And
I said
the ruler out and spank people if they're being sassy in the corner.
I can handle it. I
think he'll be phenomenal. I just want to make sure that when it comes to scheduling, so like there's two things that go with these classes. It is your prep time. Like I'm your resource to prep with. So like I'm going to be a sounding board for you. So I want to help you develop your curriculum, which you're probably amazing. You don't need me at all. I'm just a resource person. So I'd love to help you develop your curriculum, even if it's like I know you probably have a lot that you could teach on, but you can just kind of see this first one as a trial period. And if
Sure.
you hate the experience, then you never have to do it again.
Yeah.
It will be paid as a position, so you'll be getting some money
I'm
from
not
it.
even worried about the pay. Don't worry about that. I'm
Oh,
happy
don't
to do
make me cry. Don't make me cry
No,
because
I'd be
I
happy
have
to do
been
it.
so overwhelmed by just the pay part of it. But
Ah,
I want people to
don't worry about
feel
it.
incredibly
I'm
valued.
happy to pay it forward, man. I have
Yeah.
no problem.
Well, you're
You don't
also
have to
going to
worry about
get
that.
the best part of this, and I hate to be like so dramatic about it, but me and my team capture the media and we make you look sexy. We make you look real good. And I'm posting
luck.
on my whatever. You got it going on. So, so we get you fresh content. It's always accessible to you guys who like if you're the instructor and you're like, hey, I want I want this 10-minute clip or what, you can always say, hey, can you get this edit for me? Whatever. You might just think about it. You might be in the shower one day and just like have this
Yeah.
little thought and you're like, I want this piece edited so you can come to me, my team, whatever, and just say, hey, I want from here to here. Can you clip this? Can you get this to me? But what you're really going to get, you're going to get all that content edited, nicely put together, some little snippet highlight videos of reels. It's really where it's at. And then you get fresh photos. So of you doing your thing, so that's a benefit I would say to anyone who instructs is like, my hardest thing is people don't want to talk. They don't want to instruct. So the fact that you actually might have a little bit of, I can help, I can teach people, I can mentor, I can.
I love helping people. It's not a problem. I am
Yeah.
happy to give that information.
That's incredible. I'm so happy. Well,
Yeah.
you just answered some prayers for me. So thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna cry some happy tears after I get off this line. But because the biggest anxiety is like, how do I find awesome people to want to be a blessing to others and benefit others by just opening their mouth and sharing and showing up. I handle the structure of the meeting so that they don't feel like overwhelming to you or to the students. So I kind of just manage just the atmosphere, whatever. But for example, like you don't want to stand there for 10 hours, right? That sounds a little bit, that sounds like tiring. So we might be like, oh, let's try 2-hour chunks or like let's do, or you might even have other instructors there that day. So like y'all might like, maybe you have stuff you're teaching on that and maybe overlaps. So like maybe you'll instruct the first 2 hours and then you'll sit back. You can either stay in the class and be present as just sit there, or you can go somewhere else. But basically y'all can piggyback each other a little. There's so many ways you can schedule these events to make them fun for people, but really the instructors better have the best time. They have to. They have to have the best time, and we'll get you a little snacky snacks too before you get started too. Get a little matcha action. Get you like some chocolate bars or something. But
I'm good. I'm
yeah.
good. But yeah,
Awesome.
just
We
let me
want to
know.
take care of
I'm
you.
happy to.
My history is hospitality, so I'm always, and I'm from the South, so we feed everybody anytime. We give them, that's
I'm Asian,
my
so
my background.
we're always feeding each other.
Yes, that's the
Everything's
vibe.
around food.
Woo! If
At
he
the time,
feeds,
I'm always talking to like Gary. I'm like, let's get food.
yes. Yes. Oh, and I really want to get Gary on. I don't really have the deepest relationship with him, so if you want to like put a plug in his ear to get
Yeah,
him
no,
onto a podcast in the
I don't know if
future.
Gary's not the speaker type, unfortunately. I don't
He's
think.
not, but he is
No, but
so
he is so
freaking
talented.
talented.
Yeah,
You and I
Gary's
know, but maybe
incredibly
if
talented.
he's on with you one day, like maybe you'll do one solo with me in the future, but in the future,
He
like
told me that he wanted to do a podcast, but then I'm like, all right, let's set it up.
yeah, you just need
He
me.
doesn't set it up.
I'm the interviewer or host,
Oh,
So,
but
and then y'all can be on mine, get your feet wet,
Gary's a great guy. I owe a
Mm.
lot to him.
How
He's
does his work so good? Like it's just so
he's just
clean.
talented. He's very good at what he does. And he does it
It's
very
so
well.
good.
He's incredibly fast. I keep telling him to switch to AI because he'd be even faster.
Oh
But
wow.
he is like he just, he knows what he knows. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's great with clients. So I mean it's been a joy to work with him
Yeah.
for all this time. But like, as I said, like he is just I've been very blessed with the amount of people that are in my network. I mean, it's hard because I just said like as business owners, we're always very solitary.
Yeah.
It feels like we're very solitary, and I'm always jealous of like,
People who
whenever
have office spaces and they have
yeah,
all
yeah,
these
like no, the
people hanging
WPP,
out.
like whenever I go to WPPI and I
Oh
see
yeah,
all
yeah,
these
yeah.
people, like they're all like clicked up, I guess is the best
Yes.
way to say it.
Yeah.
And I've never
And you're
had that
like,
really.
look at all these
I-
clicks. I don't know how to.
yeah, I've never really had that per se. So it's been, but I've been very fortunate in the fact that the last, I'd say like maybe 4 years since COVID, I've
Yeah.
been kind of around some amazing people that are really just genuinely good people. I
Mhm.
mean, they're incredibly talented,
But they're just
but
good people. It's
they're
hard to
just good
find.
people.
And you can tell the difference between someone who's a rotten apple, a stinky egg,
Yeah.
and you can tell that there are other people who live with great values in this world. To brag on David Alonso, I don't know if do you know
Oh no,
David?
I love David. David is
Okay.
like
So me
he's
and him have been like really chit-chatting lately and connecting better and better each and every day. And I told him something yesterday and I meant it. I'm a very mushy-gushy person, very, very lovey-dovey. I'm like the hippie of I should be the hippie of the group, probably. Less marijuana, but and I take showers. But I told him, I said, David, any room you go into, your values lead before you even get there because your values come out in the way you talk to people and the way you every action he takes, really, it all comes from his value system. And his value system, he saved my butt one day because I was kind of like in a hard place and I needed someone to talk to. And I was like, I just need like another few admins for the gig pickup because I was struggling. I was like, I want to do some big things with gig pickup. I want to like rock people's worlds and help them pay for their groceries and buy a new car if they need a new car, buy that new couch, buy that new whatever work computer. I don't know. I want to benefit people. And I got in over my head because I got a little my feathers ruffled, right?
happened.
And David swooped in and I said he's a good guy.
Oh, he's a great
He's what
guy.
I call gung ho. Gung ho. And that night
He's earnest.
he's such an earnest person.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
why I like David. He's very earnest. He is what you see is what you get kind of guy. He doesn't really there's no guile in him. There's no nothing. He's
he
just
also doesn't
very
like kiss butt. Like he's not fake. I don't think. I don't think he's
no, he's
fake.
not. That's so that said he's
That's
just
what I like about
completely
him.
genuine, earnest. And he's a talented photographer. I like I said I've been burned before. David's been one of my bright spots because
Mhm.
like I love Gary and I love a lot of my friends who are extremely talented, but they're sometimes the rates for things that I need I just can't pay their rates, which is
Yeah.
fine. There's nothing against them. Again,
100%.
I
100%.
just can't afford them, or this gig particularly cannot afford their rate,
Yeah.
which is not as I said, no knock
Not a
on them.
mhm.
If I could get a better rate for it, it'd be easier for me to farm it out to them.
100%.
But David has been that like bright spot. He is
Mhm.
just exactly what you're looking for in an associate person, is that he represents your brand very well. He's always conscientious of the client and their needs, and he gets great images. So
And I
that's
think
all
he
you can
touches
really
base
ask
with you
for.
too. I'm sure he touches base with you too, before or after the shoot
Yeah, he's
because
just a great guy. Like
he wants to
overall,
do a
like
good job.
he's like one of like the bright spots of my network where I'm like, okay, this is my
You can
go-to guy.
rest easy
If I
around
have an
him.
associate job, I throw it to him first because as I said, he's just super reliable, super yeah, just
Talented,
dependable,
good person.
earnest, and I can trust him with my clients. There's always people that you just don't know if they're so desperate for work that
They
sometimes
might.
they will try to undercut you or do, and I've had it
Yeah,
happen. It's not a good
I hate
thing. It's
it.
not a pleasant
It's not a
thing.
good vibe.
No,
Um,
no. But I mean, yeah, I said people are desperate. When people get desperate, they'll do desperate things. So
yeah, I'll jump off on this topic in a future, but I think a lot of people are in survival mode right now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
And I
think their
get it. I
nervous
said
systems are wacky doodle, and I think we all need to get back to having healthy nervous systems and healthy bodies and healthy minds because I
the
think
world is a the world is a very dangerous place. I was talking
it's
to
a
my
little
wife.
chaotic, ain't it? It's
It's just like
chaotic.
we're all in panic mode sometimes, and like we just don't know. And especially
Yeah.
for those of us with families or not necessarily kids, but like like if we have parents who are ill or can't work or retired and stuff like that. I think it's just a very, I mean, I'm always worried, but I don't, that's for me when I'm trying to go to sleep. It's more
Yeah.
on my day-to-day basis, I try to push it out of my mind because
Yeah.
that is detrimental.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be part of your decision-making process because I think that
That's
that
good.
leads you to poor decisions.
Fear being a part of the decision-making process. That is a good topic. Because a lot
Yeah.
of people do make decisions in fear and panic. But how many times have you been like between a rock and a hard place and you're like, I just have to make a decision like right now?
Oh yeah. No,
And you're like,
that's
you don't feel calm, but you're going back to all your experience. You're going back to what your gut is saying. And sometimes you're really good and you're on point, and sometimes you're not. Like for example, I had a wedding that I did a big old boo-boo on. It was a horrible, horrible day. I should tell you that one day, if we have a chance to talk. But it was like I basically got abused by a second shooter that I hired.
ooh,
Yeah,
that sucks.
toxic, narcissistic person.
Ugh,
I had
I-
hired him for 2 days straight too, and he for 2 days basically was very abusive, hateful, evil, dark. I don't know, maybe he had a demon or something, I don't know. Bad joke, but maybe he was a demon, I don't know, in the flesh. But he screwed with me so much, but I still had a job to do. I was the lead videographer, and I had 2 weddings back to back, and I hired him for both. I actually prepaid him, which was really
oh
stupid. And
yeah.
my husband like, why is he telling you to prepay him? Like, that's weird. And then all this comes about, and my husband was like, oh, he has you prepay him unless if you fire him that day because you don't like him, because other people probably fire him within seconds of him being a little butthead. So I was supposed to do a same day edit, which is, just after the ceremony, we dropped the video footage to a little bit. We just clipped something together, sweet, short, about 4 minutes in length. And I was going to play it on a projector. So I had a screwy situation with the DJ. The DJ was acting crazy to me, which I know it sounds like I'm just saying crazy people here, crazy people there, but this guy was really out to ruin me a little bit that day. All that being said, fast forward, I had issues with my projector. I had drunk people knocking
Oh,
my
those are the worst.
projector cord out, like the cord that was plugged into the wall. I had them, like, it was really, really sketchy. I swear everything that could go wrong went wrong that night. And I was like, is this hell that I'm living in right now? Because that felt like hell. I had cried a lot that day, or after all of that had happened, because it was just such a stress on my body, my nervous system. It was so jacked. Anything that could have helped, the one thing that could have helped me that day was calling for help. And lo and behold, my husband is a technology person,
Oh nice.
and he can, oh my gosh, he can do so much. He sounds really, really like he's speaking another language when he's talking tech. I'm gonna make him a t-shirt soon that says talk techie to me, which is kind
Yeah,
of like
nice.
talk dirty to me, but talk techie to me, or all that. So, but if I would have called this man, if I would have known and made him drive an hour, he would have done it. He would have easily kept the drunk people from knocking the cord out, and resetting my projector every single time. He could have made sure that our things worked better with the DJ, because for some reason the DJ might have not have been fussy with him. I don't know. Men treat men differently than men treat women sometimes. And just calling in a friend, I would have saved myself a world of hurt. But I didn't do that. I didn't call the professional. I didn't call him in. I tried to handle it all by myself, and it all tanked. Like, it was such a disaster. I learned a lot from it, but for years and years and years, I've just been carrying this with me. It's horrible, horrible. And I'm like, I can't be a videographer anymore. I just suck. I'm
Oh.
gonna be done. I suck. I can't do the same day edits. My same day edit was super sexy, by the way. It was so flawless, beautiful, gorgeous. It's just every detail of that day was a lot of it was out of my control at that point. Especially the drunk people. I mean, they were just knocking.
Yeah.
I swear, how can you not just step over a cord, So like, but it was just funny. That was a funny part of it. All that being said, I didn't let that cancel me. I could have canceled myself that day, and I wanted to. I still want to because of that, but It's just I got to manage my mind. I got to manage how I see myself, and I got to give myself a lot of grace.
Yeah.
That day,
You got to give
I
yourself
felt like
grace.
I felt like I had no grace for I felt like the world had no grace for me,
Hmm.
and I screwed everything up. It was like a dumpster fire, but I kind of pulled myself out of the pit. Oh, and lo and behold, my car battery was dead that day. So it was raining
days.
and my car battery was dead. And thank God there were still people at the venue. They gave me a jump, but even just one little change to that, I could have saved myself a little bit of hurt, just by having my hubby come in and handle his stuff. Got to pay him in kisses though, because can't be paying him too much. Just pay him in kisses and
I feel
a
that way
hug
about
or something.
I feel that way about my wife. She's much smarter than me, so I'm very
She's
great.
smarter than
Yeah, my wife is smarter than me. My wife is certifiably like
I'm scared and intimidated
yeah,
in a
she
good way
is
now.
very, very brilliant, and I'm
What's
very,
her
very.
fortes? Like, what's her fortes in? Because
She
I
doesn't.
can't
I
even
mean, she's
imagine.
just. It's funny because I remember when I first started, and I was like trying to make a website and a different yeah, so I had one in Food Zenfolia, but I wanted to make one in WordPress. And I remember distinctly saying, I was frustrated because WordPress is just a different monster, and I'm like, all right. And so I was trying to figure it out. And then I just remember going and shooting something. I remember shooting a wedding and then coming home that night, and my wife had just literally spent the day just researching, and she's like, I know WordPress now. Just
Oh,
like,
she spent a
okay.
day.
I'm like, great.
She's
Kind of like that
amazing.
Matrix thing where she's just like, and then she was
Yeah.
just like, but not that fast. She took
Yeah,
her a day, but she was just like, I know WordPress.
she's
And I'm like,
amazing.
great. And she built
She's,
my first WordPress site, and it was amazing and I loved it.
I'm crying.
Yeah, and it was great. And she's been that way ever since. Like every time
She's just
I try to
so
do something, she's like, oh,
gung ho.
you can optimize it this way. I'm like, brilliant, that's a great idea.
She,
So she's always my counterpoint, and it's frustrating
Mhm.
that she's smarter than me. But
I think that let me ask you something. Does she agree with that statement?
what, that she's smarter than me?
Yeah.
Yes.
She does? Oh, well,
Yes,
then it's all good.
100%
I was
she
like,
is.
because I was like wondering if it's from a perspective thing that maybe
No, no,
sometimes
no,
she
no,
thinks
no.
that,
We both even my son agrees with that
me and
statement.
my husband, I swear there is a certain level of intelligence that me and my husband have. And I'm like, we have this little pocket of heaven that is our home,
Yeah.
We may live in a little rinky-dink apartment right now, but our home is our atmosphere is that's our little community, our little family, and we get
Yeah.
to dictate what's in there.
Listen,
And if we're leveling up, baby, we are doing fine. He's got a good job. I'm okay with my job. I need more clients right now, or a full-time job, whatever. Um, but we have a lot of love and we have a lot of intelligence within us, and
listen.
not
I don't know
everybody
if you,
has
I
that.
mean, you're a psych person, right?
I am
So
deeply, deeply, way
there's
too
a
much.
there is so everyone just like basically figures out like, oh well, there's just IQ, right? IQ is the sign of intelligence, but it's really
Yeah,
not.
it's not. There's
There's
so
seven.
many layers,
No,
right?
there's seven different intelligences, right?
Yeah,
So I think there's seven. I
love
remember
this.
if I remember correctly. But
Sounds about right.
so my wife is like extremely book smart on the IQ side.
Dang.
She can like learn things, she
She
can figure
can
things
eat
out
it
like
up.
on a level that's, but for me, my strength where I bring to the table is I have a lot of emotional IQ. So I can read people, I can understand people, I can relate to people, I can find connections where even with people
Mm,
that I may not personally like.
yes.
Um,
Thank you. Good.
so
Good point.
my emotional intelligence is much higher than
Out
her.
the wazoo.
She doesn't tolerate people nearly as well as I do. Which is understandable.
Maybe
I
is she a little
um,
introverted
is
as well?
very she is very like, she's you're in the good pile or you're not in the good pile.
I love
It's
it.
very
She's
simple.
decisive.
Yeah, she's very decisive
Love
when it
that.
comes. Whereas me more as I can understand a lot of different, and then there's
Yeah.
like, I said there's and on the different levels of intelligence, there's also body, people who are able to utilize their body very well.
Kinetic.
High performance athletes,
Kinetic.
yeah, kinetic
High kinetic. Yeah.
intelligence. So there's
Wow.
high, like, so as I said,
Crazy.
like everyone brings something to the table. You just have to figure out, like, I don't believe that anyone's just dumb. I think it's just there's a different level of what what they've naturally been given talented, like
Yeah.
genetically speaking,
Yeah.
and then what they've been nurturing, you know. So it's like I
Yeah.
could have great kinetic intelligence, but if I've never nurtured it,
Yeah.
it's like a muscle, right? It's gonna wane. Same thing with
Love.
or my wife. My wife is a voracious reader, so she's always constantly flexing her muscles in the sense that she's reading. And for me, I'm always flexing my emotional because I'm always dealing with clients. I'm always dealing with new people, so I'm
Yeah.
constantly getting fed that. Okay, like, am I reading this person right? Am I not reading this
Mm.
person right? It's not necessarily that
They're
you're
good case studies.
yeah. So like I'm
I
always watching, and I'm always understanding and trying to
think
relate.
we have a lot of overlap, and I think my husband and your wife actually have a lot of overlap. So it's cool that
So as I said, there's
you
like
have a
different
high
things.
intellect and
Yeah, that's why I don't get upset. I'm very proud of the fact that my wife is much smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. It's she's brilliant.
but
And so
you guys are
very
a pair. You're a duo. You're two peas in a pod because obviously things work very well between you guys.
yeah, until
And
my ego gets in the way of like, oh wait, no, I know it's supposed to be like that.
yeah.
She's like, no, and I'm like, ah, she's right.
And sometimes it is a process of seeing that wifey is right or you're right or what. It's a process of seeing what happens, right? So
Yeah,
it's a little
95%
bit
of
of
the time
a
she's right.
it adds some fun to the relationship. But yeah, I would say I'm in my relationship with my husband, like we're still new, like I would say we're still getting to know each other. We're newly I'm not saying we got married yesterday, but it still feels like every single day we live our lives, we're still building that rhythm, that even that connection and understanding each other better. Like I know the things not to bring up to talk to him about, or the things we can talk about. Like I call them safe topics. If we're talking about like high energy topics, it's like, is it his realm or is it my realm? Because we're very different in what we participate in, like our hobbies and all. So if it's talking about World of Warcraft, he's rocking it out. If it's talking
Nice.
about
He's a WoW
Zelda,
player.
he
Nice.
is. He's
Nice.
a great WoW player. He's got like a thunder gifting. I don't know what he is. You have to
Oh, I
ask
don't know. I
him.
used to play. I
He
played.
does like he has got a cow that has thunder in his fingertips. It's cow. It's like really cool. And he's really advanced in this game. Like he's very much expert level. It's ridiculous. He is in a guild. I think it's called a guild. I don't know what you call it. Guild. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cute. Great little community. But me, I told David this the other day. Just I said every day I have something about my identity that shifts and changes and tweaks a little bit. Not in a sense that I lose myself every day, right? But it's like I am inventing who I want to be, who I am. And every single day you have new stresses, new pressures that arise and like push against who you are as a person. And it's like a pimple popping. If you got a lot of chaos under the surface and you got all these emotions and you're like, oh, a little while, well, if something stressful happens, it pops that wide open. That's why you see people with a lot of big emotions, a lot of anger, sadness, fear, pain, screaming, fighting, whatever, all that. And like I said, it's just like popping a pimple. But I'm most of the time, if I'm around people, I'm their pimple popper. Because my personality is I always look to see how I can better someone. That's my first train of thought, is how can I better this person? Because I know I better myself each and every day. I'm on these podcasts, listening to my audio podcasts and whatever, growing myself as a person. I have my personal faith that I believe is a part of who I am. I don't know, it's a big part of who I am. It's how I frame my world is through the eyes of my faith or the filter of my faith. So I'm a work in progress. Every day I'm changing, hopefully for the better, but it's layer upon layer. We don't start from ground zero every day. We don't build Rome in a day. We are who we are in this moment in time. And to be able to sit with ourselves as we are in this moment in time and say, I love me, I love my wife, I love my husband, I love my kid or kids. That's a delightful thing. And that's what true bliss really is, in my opinion. True bliss, it brings a calmness to me when I can just sit in that moment. But then I'm a futurist and I'm a visionary. And my problem is seeing the future and getting really excited about the future now in this moment in time, and then literally lingering in the future. And I used to be very obsessed with my past because I thought if I sort through my past, I can figure out who I am as a person. But it became a chokehold for me a little bit. It became a hindrance to linger in all the pain of the past and all the issues of the past and all the woe is me kind of thing. But I went through my process and I came out on the other side and I realized I don't want to have sticky feet in the past, but I also don't want to get too zesty and excited about the future when today is beautiful and there's so much in one day that we should be taking in. And so for our analytical brains, for us to analyze, we might meet a new person, go to a coffee shop and see a nice barista that we click with. I believe that humans are limitless in their capacities. And the only thing that places true limits on us is fear.
Yeah, I agree. I think
fear is a restriction. Keeps us from moving forward. It keeps us from taking the next step. It keeps us from doing certain tasks that are new or foreign to us. Gives us anxiety about a lot of things that, honestly, if we can nail fear and tackle fear, you'll never get stuck. And even if you do get stuck, you know why you got stuck. It's probably fear.
I agree with
But
that.
I don't see you as a person who is struggling with fear. And I'm so happy to find someone who, I know that I'm like analyzing too much right now, but your ego is in check. Your pride is in check. You're the type of person who's done so much that, like I said, people can only dream to have
I think
what you have.
Yeah, I think it's easy to sit there and see that,
Yeah.
like in that sense that like I don't fear about things that are photography related. I mean, like everyone
Yeah.
feels imposter syndrome, and that's fine. And I feel that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I just got a new campaign. I'm like, can I pull this off? Even though I know that I can't. I'm just,
You have the
but it's still nonetheless
history.
you feel like that fear. I think the fears that for me is mainly just how long I could sustain that. I'm more worried about the future because this job, this career that I chose is only as good as I am, right? It's only as good as I'm able
You're the
to function.
producer. You're
Yeah,
producing
as long as I can
as
function
long as you
physically,
can
right?
function. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the hard part is that I'm worried about what happens when I like now I'm getting to the point where I'm worried about like what happens when my body doesn't function. I have friends who now are going for shoulder surgery. I have friends who
Yes.
are going for hip surgery, stuff like that
Good
where you're
point.
like, "Oh, like so like for me, like I love playing volleyball. I love doing all this other stuff.
Mhm.
I don't do it anymore. Like
Just
because
because of the
I'm
risk
worried.
factor. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I get injured, then like I can outsource a lot of stuff, but that's not going to be sustainable, right? Because
Yeah.
especially for the bigger campaigns where they're
You need to
hiring,
be there.
I need to be there. I
Yeah.
need to shoot it. So that's why for me, I'm like, I'm trying to like, at one step, I'm like, I'm proud of where I am in my career. I'm happy to see what the next few years are going to bring, but I'm also worried. Like my fear is just like,
Your physical body.
what's going to happen? Yeah, what's going to happen to my family if I
Yeah.
can't provide? And that's it.
Yeah.
And then that for me is like, that's what drives me. I think
Yeah.
sometimes fear healthy fear
Yeah.
can drive you. I
I
think
think
if
so.
it paralyzed me and stopped me from making the steps forward that I need to make it forward, I think that's where it's like, I
That's
think
the
that's where
sticky.
it's a problem,
You're
right?
stuck.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
it's just that aspect of like how much fear is a good thing. It's a natural thing. But
It drives
it,
people. Yeah.
yeah, but the problem is that when it overtakes you and that's all you're thinking about. And that's what I try to keep my head focused on. And I
Yeah.
think the only reason why, I'll be honest, is because I'm older and I have that experience and I'm wiser. Because
Mhm.
in my 20s, I was like freaking out
Yeah.
all the time. I was very anxiety
You're
filled.
like, oh. It's that analytical brain of yours too.
Yeah,
And you're
because you're just
like very
constantly worried. You're like,
logical.
okay, if I don't bring this, what if this fails? And I was a Boy
Yeah.
Scout, so like
You're prepared.
I would prepare, and then
Yeah.
I would not sleep at night because I would be. And now I'm like, okay, I have my checklists. I go through
Woo!
my
Got
checklists.
that system.
I have a system in place to
Yeah.
make sure that I don't have, so I can sleep
You
because I know.
don't build Rome every single day, brand new, right? You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
You have built Rome, and your Rome comes in systems that keep you from having anxiety, that ensure that you're up to speed, you're ready to rock and roll, your hip isn't busted out. You got all your camera equipment, you know what, your team is
yeah,
being
and
prepped, whatever. you know?
It's for me, that's the whole reason why I came here and
Mhm.
to join this group is mainly because of that aspect of like, so I know my systems. I know my systems inside out. Now
Yeah.
I realized what I learned in the last couple of years more so when having to build out a team is that
Mhm.
I need to find good people, right?
You
So
have to. It's
like
hard to find
because
because you like people, but that doesn't mean they're good at they're
correct.
for
There
the
are people
producing.
that I love and I'm like they're great
They're great
people,
people.
but they're not the type of people that I need on a shoot because I don't want to have to be worried about XYZ. I want
Yeah.
everyone to be there for them, for the
The
project.
job.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's much harder. It's a much more difficult situation, but I think overall, like that's why like I love David Alonso and I
Yeah.
like Gary and
He's
like
a good guy.
these are people that I know that if I have them there, even though they may be more expensive or more uh, or may not be as available as much. It's the aspect of like there's that level of like comfort. There's a level of like, okay,
Mhm.
I know if the, the crap hits the fan,
Yeah.
I have
They're gonna
somebody,
be like helping
everyone's gonna
support
be like,
cleaning up the
okay,
crap.
we're there. And I
Yeah.
said I don't mind teaching people things. I don't mind learning from other people. I don't have the ego of like when someone says,
Yeah.
"Oh, did you think of this?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. That's a great
But
idea."
great idea. And then you can
You know,
implement it.
yeah, and giving where credit is due, it's like
Yeah.
that is to me is the more important part now. Now for me, this next 2025 is building upon what I have, but building a team out where I know like, okay, these are the projects that I can do with these people and I'm going to expand further. And then,
Yeah.
I feel like I only have maybe, unless something really changes, I
Yeah.
want to be able to offload things and basically just uh not retire, but basically just move
You,
on to something a little bit more full
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Not because I don't love it.
What if you sat back in the leadership position
It's
and you
hard.
had the moving pieces? Because I come from like so my dream job would be to manage teams or mentor teams to help functionality and to help productivity. But where you're at, you can pivot by setting up that foundation, that team, right? And
Yeah, I'm working with a
consistently,
couple other people
yeah,
to try to sit there and see if what we can do with that because I think overall I work for a couple companies like that
yeah,
that I just have the network. So we'll see in the next couple of
yeah.
years.
Take your time. There's no pressure
That'd
to
be ideal where I'd like to do because I said I love photography. Like I live,
yeah,
breathe, like it doesn't get old to me. I it is just something that ingrained in me, but I am not
you're good
what
at
you
it.
call a traditional artist. Like
Yeah.
I've met people who are traditional artists and I love them because their minds just work in a different way than mine, and I'm fascinated by it. They
Mhm.
see things differently than I
Yeah.
do. I'm a technician. I
Yeah, you're
100%
technical. 100%.
believe like when I get an artistic when I work with an artistic person, I know that I'm really in a great symbiotic relationship and that like that kind of partnership, more like a partnership, not a
Mhm.
relationship. But because then it's like they have that thought process, and me, I'm more I can handle it.
Yeah.
I can bring it to fruition.
Yeah.
So it's like
Well,
it's a nice it as I said
a
it
good
just comes down to
collaboration.
like I think a lot of it is I don't know where the future is going to lie in the next 10 years, but I have to figure it out soon.
Yeah.
Um, I think this year I was just in the weeds, is just trying to do as much work as I possibly can, um, and then go from there. I think next year is that's the thing about our careers is that there's always
The next year that you're planning and prepping for.
there's no end stage, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone's just like, oh, I wish I could be in this position. I'm like, well,
But
yeah, but
don't,
then once you're in this position, then you're thinking about the next position that you have to be in.
yeah.
There's no end game
Yeah.
really outside of like whatever your financial goals are or your
Yeah.
career goals are. I
Yeah.
think for me now it's just figuring out what the
Continuity?
yeah
Continuity?
continuity
Yeah.
and just what's gonna happen.
I,
How do I get past this point to where I can build something? And I think it's it's gonna be an interesting
be
challenge.
there in a second, okay?
Yeah.
Hey,
I should probably get going
No,
too.
no, yeah. So let me finish this up real quick.
Yeah.
And I just want to get you back on for a podcast in the future. Still thinking of the name of the podcast, so I might run it by a few friends, run it by you, see what you think about the name, get your feedback. But where you're at when you said I'm in the weeds or I was in the weeds, that's why I'm really going hardcore with gig pickup and the networking, because there's a lot of great people in the group, right? And more to come, but the cream always rises to the top. And you may not think this way about yourself, you may, but you're differentiated, highly differentiated from a lot of people that I meet from day to day. And I want you to see yourself as that, because where you're at, you've built, you probably just imagine you've built this by yourself, right? You built this solo. Maybe you've had people support you along the way, but you have put your name and your face and your rep out there, and you are where you are because of you, and you put yourself in this place. Imagine that you find your people, right? These are reliable people who will have longevity with you, who that as you invest in them, they will not just dip out and disrespect you, because it is kind of disrespectful if you invest in a person and then they just dip out and they just kind of take advantage of what you taught them, but they don't give a shit about your business or your future of your business. Well, let's just say you find your people and they're just ideal. They work in a collaborative fashion rather than being control freaks. What you bring to the table is flexibility. You bring a lot to the table, but your flexibility is astounding, because that's why you're going to do well and you're going to see those bigger jobs. And I will continue to, be in contact with you about LinkedIn, because I want to build my client portfolio. So if I can be of any benefit, even just from a video perspective, LinkedIn perspective, I want to, obviously partner with people like you to start dabbling in LinkedIn and start really, how can we be visually appealing to those bigger corporate jobs, because they do have the budget for us. They do have the budget to get new headshots, and they do have the budget to get some video content for their websites, their Instagrams. So you may not use Instagram, but your clients use Instagram. So it's like, even just having a social media buddy who you can call, whether it's a temporary basis, they work with you, or every week, whatever, you still have those people. So obviously, we could dive into so many different topics, but I'll let you go for today. It was such an amazing time getting to chat with you. I'm like,
Yeah, definitely. I
astounded,
enjoyed it.
really deeply astounded. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to get my podcast up and running, because there's so much good there. And also with the instructor thing, it's just a dream come true to even have you say, yes, I'm interested. I'll hopefully make it worth your time. The students will come out of the woodwork. We have a little bit of a structure that I already have in mind, and I'll pre-approve it with you, see how it feels. Feel free to tweak it, but thanks for being a part of Gig Pickup.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, and
Appreciate
have
it.
a wonderful day. Okay.
You too. All right.
Bye.